Welcome, Night Owls, to the Book Club After Dark podcast, an inviting moonlit podcast. I'm your host, Danny.
And I'm Michelle. We break down fantasy, romantasy, and thriller novels.
All things enchanting, intriguing, suspenseful, and maybe a little spicy.
Each episode features intimate discussions on captivating stories, character breakdowns, fan theories, and more. And this is your content warning. This podcast contains mature themes and discussions that may not be suitable for all audiences. Episodes include explicit language and descriptions of mature romance, as well as depictions of violence and other intense subject matter. This podcast is rated R for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
And going forward from here, there will be lots of spoilers for our coverage of Quicksilver by Callie, Hart. Consider this, as always, your spoiler.
Let's get cozy because the best stories are told after dark.
Tonight's drink of the episode is right here. It is called the Bittersweet Beginning. It is a watermelon spicy margarita. It's got a pinkish color to it and, of course, has some jalapeno, tequila, lime juice, fresh watermelon juice, and a little bit of simple syrup to kind of balance everything out, garnished with tahini on the rim and a cubed watermelon as garnish on the top side of the glass. I picked this because I wanted to have something for us that embodied Saeris' transition. Vampire, you think red. Well, she's not fully vampire. So I was like, what's kind of like a midway? So like a pinkish color drink. And then I was like, well, I need something that is spicy and kind of bittersweet. So I was like, watermelon, spicy marg, it all kind of flows together. Intent here was to embody the fact that while Saeris lives at the end of this book, and we're finally at our final episode of Quicksilver, that she isn't living as the Saeris we've known this whole time. This is a new beginning for her, and she's starting fresh. So cheers to bittersweet beginnings.
Cheers. I love.
And it's delicious, by the way.
Yeah. It seems refreshing and perfect for the summer and perfect for Saeris' new season as she becomes queen.
Yeah. The Brimstone teaser, Michelle. Oh my God.
So good. So wild. I cannot wait. It just made me want more, and I can't have more for a while.
But Fisher. Why is Fisher always trying to unalive himself? Why?
He's self-sacrificial. I hate it, but he is. And that's his character. And that was literally like one of his runes is sacrifice on his arm. It's destined.
Yeah, like the giant tattoo he has on him.
Mm-hmm.
I know. We watched it together, and there's a clip of us for those who are watching or listening and don't know what we're talking about. Callie Hart released a clip of Brimstone, the audio, which sounds absolutely incredible. If you have a minute to go and look at that, I highly suggest looking at our page because we reposted it. But you can see our reactions, and of course, we're ecstatic to do coverage of Brimstone. So we're gonna be back in November with our Brimstone coverage. But this is our last Quicksilver episode, which is also kind of bittersweet. So let's immerse ourselves back into Yuvelia, and over this episode, we're going to be covering our special guests with their perspectives on Quicksilver.
We'll have Natalie of NatJustCakes, Valerie of Valerianoda, and Desirae at Libra.
All of their usernames are going to be tagged in the description and posted on social media. So as always, if you're reading along with us or just here for book talk, we are glad you're here. We can't thank you enough for joining us on this Quicksilver journey, and yeah, we're really excited.
That's over.
This last,
but like not sad that it's over. But it won't be like we'll have more content of Callie Hart for later on this year. But sad it's over for now.
That's right. Like over for now. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. So it's like
it's bittersweet
ending for now. Yes. Exactly.
Hey, Natalie, thank you so much for joining us again tonight.
Hi. Hey, how are you guys?
Hey.
Great. How are you doing tonight?
Good. I'm Natalie. I'm NatJustCakes on Instagram,
Yeah.
Facebook, all the good stuff, pretty much on everything, to be honest. But it's so great to come back. Thanks for having me, guys.
We're
Make
so
sure
glad to have you
listeners
back.
Give her a follow on that handle. If you missed it, we'll put it in the description below. But thank you so much for coming back. So excited. Let's hop into the first question. So what did you like about Quicksilver?
Quicksilver. So I read this a while ago, so I did have to do like a refresher, but I do remember that I really liked the overall, premise of it. I felt like it was a very interesting storyline. It was very different from what I really thought it was going to be. I had been hearing a lot of things about people kind of going over like, oh, like this is the new thing, like, oh my gosh, it's amazing, and I had no idea what to expect, to be honest. So going into it, I didn't even know that it had anything to do with Fae, which I was like, oh, I'm in another Fae book. And then on top of that, vampires were nothing to what I thought it was going to be. But I did love the idea of, alchemy being introduced, and, the sentient Quicksilver, and the vampires, the Fae, like everything that was kind of thrown into the pot. Like I liked that it was a really different story to what, you would expect it to be. Well, you really like had no idea where it was going, and I really enjoyed that aspect.
Awesome. Is there anything that you disliked about it?
So, obviously with like a newer idea to a story, there's going to be some plot holes. There's going to be some spaces that like didn't really make sense. So there's certain things that I was kind of like, I'm hoping that gets a little more like, I guess, tighter. Like there was like a part in the beginning that when Madra, she starts talking about, she starts talking about how like the Fae are coming back, and they're gonna come, and they're gonna freaking try to come to this realm, and they're gonna like, she was like, seems super scared throughout the entire, beginning part when she's talking to Saeris when she gets brought into the castle. And at the end, it just kind of went away. It's kind of like, I was like, I'm hoping that like things like that don't really repeat later on. Or that, it
all
gets
is
a little
forgiven.
bit,
It's fine.
Yeah, it's like I just want it to be a little tighter in certain aspects. But I do understand that it's like, when you're going into stuff, when you're going into like a newer storyline, it's going to be a few things that are kind of like neat tweaks. Obviously, there's stuff in ACOTAR that's the same thing, so I can't really falter for it. I just hope that it's a little more tight.
Okay,
I get that too, because it's like, there was so much focus on this fear that she had, and then her brothers were just like, all is forgiven in time.
Yes,
like, we just get over it. And you're like, wait a minute.
I was like,
she was like terrified of this, with her golden guards and everything.
Yeah.
It was like in her
and
mind.
Then there was like, there was like another part, I think, with like with Kingfisher when they're like at the, what is it? When they're at the war camp. And they're at the front lines, and they're talking about getting like supplies in, and how it's like everything is like, the supplies going in is like really, really like hard to get food in, and to be able to supply the warriors with food and with water and with rations and stuff like that. And then he like pulls like a bathtub out of like a realm or something, and just like puts it in the room. And I was like, wait, why can't you get food? Like it was like, it felt like the Elaine thing with like, why can't you grow food if you're planting stuff? Like it's like, why can we not make like segues into these things?
No, flowers are pretty. That's what we grow.
So it was like
bathtubs are necessary, not
bathtubs
food.
are necessary. We definitely need a bath over water and food.
That's fair. I could see that.
Yeah.
My only caveat to that is that Kingfisher back to them at the same time as. So that's the only timeline thing that's difficult, is like Kingfisher didn't get to Iran or to Kalish until he pulled Saeris out. That was his first time back in like 110 years. So even if he could pull food or service, like he wasn't there. So that's my only caveat to that piece.
Yeah, but
like he wasn't actually there.
Of, like, wasn't that the point of like the whole issue with them going into the war? Like the war was going to be for a specific amount of time, and he was like, we need to be done with this within the next like 100 years or 10 years or something like that. There was like a time frame, and I thought that had to do with the amount of supplies that they had, or to be able to like sustain the war throughout that time frame. So it's like, wasn't that like the thing, or was it having to do with the ice
part
breaking?
Of it.
Yeah, so
I think it's that too, but
issue.
He could only conjure for, I think it was only certain periods of time. There's like stipulations to like him being able to pull a bathroom in for a period of time and release it. And yeah, because he did that too, and it was part of the, what was it, the bonus chapters. Did you read the bonus chapters?
I did not. I did not even know.
Go check those out.
I gotta check those out.
Go on Callie Hart's website, and there's 3 bonus chapters, and the one that's specific to Kingfisher kind of talks about his ability to conjure and some of his magic there. The gate parts 1 and 2 talk about how he has the name Kingfisher of the Audgen Gate, and it's the full story of like Lorith's song that he sings.
Oh, I've been wanting to
and
know
it's
about
like
that.
the story
so
of that.
I
Really,
didn't.
really interesting.
I did not know that there was any bonus chapters. Like I said, it's like the original. I have no idea.
Bring that closer
The
to the screen,
original.
Natalie.
The
Whoa.
original. This
Yeah,
is
we
like,
definitely don't have that edition.
I think
Open it up.
says,
It's got to be like a first. Is it like what? The very first printing? Like in the
No,
very
it
beginning?
says 18th of July, 2024. 18th of
What does the first
July.
page say?
Okay.
The first page doesn't say, I don't think it says anything. The first page, no, it just says copyright 2024, all rights reserved. But there's nothing, there's like nothing in it. Like there's
First
just this.
edition or anything.
Right.
Oh,
And
wow,
then-
that is.
Yeah,
like
there's
blank.
nothing, there's like blank. And then you just go over and it's just the map.
Dang, it
And
just
that's it.
starts. Whoa.
Yeah. This is like an original. I did
OG.
look it up
Yes.
and like the ISBN is the original printing. So this is
Okay.
one of
Oh, wow.
those-
Okay.
Yeah, this is
Really cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I had no idea that there was bonus chapters. So I need to go check those out. Sorry, guys.
Oh, no, all good. Definitely
Yeah.
good. Or you could listen to our episode that talks all about the bonus chapters.
I could do that too. Like I'm great with that. I'm a big audiobook person anyway, so I'd probably prefer that, to be honest. But
All right,
Oh.
let's get us into the next question.
okay.
So we know it's coming to the big screen. We have it's going to be on Netflix. We
Ah.
may or may not do like a local screening party. So you totally have to come and bring a cake and or
Yeah.
cookies because you're totally invited, or just yourself and we'll have
Yeah.
popcorn ready. But we are super excited to see this on screen. What scene are you most looking forward to seeing on Netflix?
Okay, so this is gonna go with a story. So this is basically like I
Love it.
really, really want to see. I really loved when he took her to when Kingfisher took Saeris to like that town or whatever that his mom had the apartment at. And when they go and they like have their where like the twinkling lights are and they like go in and dance. and they
Ballard.
meet- Ballard, thank you. It's like the names just escape me. But I'm really excited to see him have that moment with her because genuinely like I'm all about the grumpy characters. I am. But like it's hard for me. Like their story was hard for me. Like I'm excited to see more so in Brimstone them being together and not being in this like weird space. Because usually with enemies to lovers, there's usually like a space where I feel like I don't know, like there's still like a devotion from the male counterpart, and I just feel like he was very mean throughout a lot of it. And so I feel like that was when I felt like they had the most connection. Like that's when I started to really like kind of understand their like moments together. Maybe there was like one part before that, but that's like part of my like that's part of something else. I feel like with them together, like I genuinely feel like that was the time frame where I understood their connection more. And I want to see that on screen. I want to see them like, have that moment under the twinkly lights. And then they, obviously have their time together at the apartment. And I really
Their moment.
Yeah. And I felt like that was the most like, that was when I felt like I was more convinced of their relationship in the book, more so than like any
Okay.
other time previous. So yes, that's a part for me. How about you guys? Is there any parts you're excited to see?
That was actually one of my favorite parts. So for all the same reasons, I love Ballard and just seeing all the different types of creatures because they're all these mythical creatures that are there and the campfire and just all of the like sensory detail that goes into that. I can't wait to see that. So that was definitely one of my favorites. What about you, Danny?
Oh, I mean, I kind of have two. I really minor, more violent. Sorry, not sorry. I really want to see like I want to see Zilvarin, and I want to understand this like wheel of a like city that's broken out in it. It's described because we don't get a map, and so I want to visually understand when she gets the gauntlet at the beginning and like that scene because I feel like it's a really powerful scene that you first start to see that she has ability because like the quartz rises up as she's going up this wall. You first start to see like her magic ability in the very first opening sequence. So Zilvarin also too, from a visually painful aspect, is as a place that has two suns. It doesn't have a nighttime. There's all these elements to Zilvarin that are interesting to me, and the differences between the third and like the different parts of the spokes on the wheel of this city. And I think it'll be visually interesting to see how they lay that out. So I'm curious how Zilvarn will look. But my second option is I want to see the scene where Sarah starts to step into her own with Solace and the feeders when she's with Renfis, right before everything, goes down. I want to see some of these fight scenes that occur with these feeders, because I think they'd be pretty intense and horrifying also at the same time. Because I do feel like this book is not in any way, yeah, you have your enemies to lovers, but I feel like we talk about this on the show, it's like a nightmare more than it is a romance in my mind. It is very dark. It's dark in its theming. It's dark in its like storytelling. It's not a traditional enemies to lovers. I actually think that on your first read, Kingfisher seems like such a dick because he is, but I feel like on your second read, and sometimes for some of us your third read, if you're listening to it, you empathize with him a lot more over time, because it really starts to set in like the level of pain that he's been in, even to get to the level to meet her. He's just like he's been through it, our Kingfisher. He really has. But all right, that's enough out of me. This interview's for you. Let's keep it going.
No, I love it. I actually like to if I was to pick a like more, I guess, gruesome scene, or like a more like, I did like the scene with when her and Kingfisher are having dinner together for the first time, and then the feeders jump in. That scene I would
the
love
window.
to see to the window. I liked that scene because it was very unexpected. Like I felt like it was like they were having like this conversation. They were getting kind of heated in certain areas, and then it was like, and come left, and I was just like, I was like, oh no. So that if I could pick a second scene, that would probably be my second scene.
Pick as many scenes as you want. Yeah.
Well, okay. those are my top two. So
all right.
All right. So let's get into the next question. So there lots of death in Quicksilver, and we know our main villain also died in Quicksilver, Malcolm. So in Brimstone, who, if anyone, is dying?
I feel like if anyone was dying, it would probably be, for me, I think that it would be Renfis. And I say this because I don't think that it'll be Everlane. I don't think it'll be her, because she's already been put into peril. She was already in danger before. It'd be kind of weird if she was. And then Lorath is connected to Kingfisher, and he already almost died. That's already been brought up, and he has this connection with him. So it'd be kind of weird to be like, and the person that was like, connected to you that almost died before, we actually are going to kill him. Because then, it'd kind of be redundant. And then beyond that, it's like, who's gonna die? They're not gonna kill Carrion. He's like my favorite character. And he's the comic relief. So like, honestly, Renfis is kind of the one that's left over, and I feel like it would make the most impact because of his connection to Everlane and his connection to Kingfisher. So I always think about characters that are going to die for the most part. If it's good writing, it's going to give an emotional impact. It's going to make you feel something as a reader and feel like, it served a purpose for their death. And so with that being said, his would be probably that would make the most sense in this grand scheme of things.
I just had a wild thought on that note. So Callie Hart posted the other day about sacrifice is a huge theme in Quicksilver and how Kingfisher has this tattoo of sacrifice. What if, crazy line of thought, he has to choose between one of the wolf pack and Saeris in some kind of situation, and there has to be some kind of sacrifice like that? I don't know. It's a Brimstone.
I feel like he would sacrifice himself before he did that.
Maybe.
Right.
I don't know, though.
Well, no, he wouldn't, because if he died first, then he would technically be putting Lorith, like, in jeopardy, right?
No, because
I know he's going to be in limbo.
No, because
he's only in limbo if...
It's the
opposite.
But
Lorith said he would kill himself immediately.
Oh,
like,
but he was going to do
knows
that anyways.
that. So I feel like Kingfisher wouldn't kill himself because he knew Lorith would kill himself if he would try.
But wasn't he going to do that anyways in the first book and in Quicksilver?
Right.
Didn't he go to do that anyways when he left the note and then he like went to his
right.
death? He was like, tell them I
and
said
then
it's
Saeris
fine.
told him right. And then Saeris told him he's an idiot and that Lorith was going to kill himself. And he's like, well, I didn't know that. But now he does know. So
Didn't he say that before though? Like he said that before he actually left. Like when he told her that, he was like, oh well, I will wait in limbo, or I'll wait in wherever, and
Right.
it's better than the alternative. Like I don't know if I'm confusing that, but I feel like he
No,
already like
martyrs for
No,
friends.
you're not. You're not confusing that.
That's the name of
But
the chapter.
Then Saeris told him that Lorith had told her that he would instead kill himself. And then I don't think Fisher knew that that's what Lorith would do immediately
I
if
don't
he
know.
killed
Yeah.
himself. He thought like Lorith would like kind of live his life, which he's stupid for thinking.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I just see like him being always the martyr in the group, Kingfisher.
fair.
That's
He
just
does
always
have that
him.
personality.
I just always
yeah,
feel
he
like
does.
he'd be like,
Yeah.
it's fine. They'll be fine without me. And it's like, no, they won't. They're all gonna
No, they won't.
like, they'll all sacrifice themselves for you the same way. So
Exactly.
Renfist. What are your thoughts on that, Michelle?
I don't know. I still think there's stuff for Renfist to do with Everlane. I still think there's a character arc there, unless they complete that in book 2 and he like sacrifices himself for like Everlane again. But I don't feel like she would be thrown into a damsel in distress situation, because that would be like 2 books in a row and she's not Princess Peach, you know? I honestly think it's going to be Lorith, just because his personality and his character is like perfect. He has his god sword, he's had his redemption, he's, you know, fought alongside of Kingfisher to save his mate. There isn't really much character growth left for him. So I think if anyone were to die, a lot of authors do like kill off the perfect character that doesn't have any more growth to do. I think he would be that one, because Saeris has growing to do. She has to figure out her shit. Kingfisher, obviously, you know, they're tied together. Carrion, he has a whole kingdom. You know, he doesn't have anything else to he has a lot to figure out. And Danya, that I don't know about her. If someone were to die, I wouldn't be mad if it was Danya, to be honest.
Telling anyone
But-
but nobody
see that.
but nobody would be upset about that. And everybody
They'd
would
be like,
be
"I
kind
don't
of just
care."
like, yeah, it wouldn't be like a big deal. I feel like everybody would just be like, all right, cool, move forward.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Lorith. That's just because he's too perfect of a character, you know?
okay.
I
don't
hope
know.
not, though, because I love him.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like
Yeah.
to me it's funny because everybody says Lorith, but for some reason in my brain I always looked at Renfist like he was more of a perfect character than Lorith. Lorith was just kind of there for me, and then I like saw it like I don't know, and I've heard this across the board a lot. A lot of people think the same thing. They're like, no, Lorith is like a perfect character, and I'm like, I always just thought of Lorith as like, you're there. And then with Renfist, it was like, yeah, like I don't know. I always thought about of like a Jamie from Outlander. Like I don't know. That's always like where my brain
Oh,
was.
yeah. Yeah.
And so I was like,
I
oh,
could see that.
that guy, he's like perfect. And he was trying to make them be friends, like freaking Kingfisher and Saeris, and he was like the buffer and the guy that was always nice to
Right.
her. And then yeah, I don't know.
It would definitely be a devastating blow if it was Renfist, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I would be pretty upset. He's beloved.
Yeah.
A side question that wasn't on our list. What did you think of the Balkhitter, like, witches clan? Or, like, let me rephrase. Where do you think we may be going in book 2 in Brimstone from a map perspective?
With the witches, I honestly
Or in
like,
general?
in general, with Brimstone, I honestly feel like so like in my brain, I keep thinking, I'm like, what would the conflict be? You know what I mean? Like obviously at the end, she now is the vampire queen. She has this new thing to rule. Please refresh me with his name. I keep forgetting. What is his name?
Thadeus?
Yes, thank you. Is it Thadeus? I read it as like Thadeus or something like that. Thadeus. Okay. So Thadeus, I don't believe that okay, so like I don't think that he helped them out of the goodness of his heart. I don't think that I genuinely don't. I think it's like, out of nowhere. Out of nowhere, like where were you? Like you saw what
Not
your father
Malfoy.
was doing. Yeah, like it was like you saw what your father was doing this whole time, and you just like you were just like standing around, and then at the last minute you were like, I'm gonna help. I'm gonna be the person to jump in, and she has to be turned. That's the only way to save her, and it's like sounds real convenient, bro. that you're the only one that can help her in this time frame. And then she takes over, and then she can potentially be like, sired or bonded or whatever, or like enthralled by you. Like it just, everything was just entirely too like, situational for me to believe that like
Yes.
that it's not gonna turn into something. And I keep thinking like,
Mhm.
what would the conflict be? Because obviously there's the whole their meeting can like cause the end of the world or whatever. But if this is a series, then obviously it's not going to be just one conflict. It's going to be that's going to be something that's going to lead up to that. But until then, it would make more sense if it was like this was part of that plot to end the world, where it was like she gets enthralled by someone who causes her to basically make these vampires do something bad to take over everybody else. And then that's what, is the big conflict that ends the world or whatever. Like I feel like it's like a rolling downhill type of snowball. And so
Right.
Mm. So where are we going?
I don't know. I feel like we're going to, I don't know. We're gonna watch them. We're gonna find out. Maybe Saeris is gonna go through her villain arc. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I feel like that would be
Okay.
interesting to like see her go through her villain arc, and then freaking Kingfisher has to be the person that's like more of like the moral compass because he is not being sired or bonded by an evil empire. I don't know.
In the Kindle edition, which I know you read the tangible book, but in the Kindle edition, there's actually a bonus chapter at the very end that goes into this and Kingfisher's relationship while he was in the maze. And you kind of get a little bit more of the background story and how their relationship actually is. He like calls him Tal. There's an understanding that they're both prisoners. So I agree that there's definitely like, I feel like there's an ulterior motive, but then you kind of see more of, I'm not going to give it all away, but just in case you want to read it. But there's a little bit more of compassion. I think Callie Hart intentionally did that to have the readers have compassion for Thadeus and trust him more going into Brimstone because he's going to be such a big player in that. And I think we're supposed to trust him in that.
And that makes sense. Like obviously, all right. So like to that point, if I read something like that, it would be less suspecting for me to or is that the right word? It would be less suspectful it would be less of a suspect thing for him to do that he would help them out. You know what I mean? Like it would be
Right.
more of a thing for me to believe that he did this out of the goodness of his heart or whatever. But again, what would the plot point be? What would the conflict be? Because I mean, did Madra die? I'm like I can't remember if she
No,
died.
Madra, she escaped.
Madra escaped. Did Bellicon die?
Escaped. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
No,
so
he
both of them
escaped too.
escaped.
He's
Okay, so both of them escaped. So that could potentially be obviously, well, not potentially. That could obviously be something that's going to turn into something. But I still think that I don't know. I still think Deus has something to do with it because that's
for
really
sure.
convenient that like again, that's super convenient that like you were there and that you were like, "Oh, she has to be turned and I can do it. I just need your permission." And so it's like, "Okay, cool. She's now this like vampire queen that she didn't ask for." And no one knows what that entails. No one knows what strings that comes with. No one knows what that will cause her to have to do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like all unanswered questions that he can use to his advantage. So, just my
Fair.
opinion.
So, okay, we talked about Thadeus and how his impact is going to be in book 2. Do you think that Kingfisher's dad is alive and will we see him in Brimstone?
Honestly, I don't think so. I mean, I feel like if there was something having to like if they were to I feel like if they were to bring up more of like I guess his lineage having to do with like the long-standing thing with the gods and stuff like that. And maybe it is because we really haven't gotten a lot of information. But like if that was brought up more so, then I would think that like okay, maybe his dad would come back, or if there was something that was like, "Oh, I need this relic from my family line," or "I need this specific thing to help with a future problem," maybe. But I don't really feel like his dad there wasn't like a lot mentioned of him that needed to be resolved or needed to be understood. You know what I mean? It wasn't even like where he himself, where Kingfisher was acting as if he was like super hurt or super affected by his dad's death. And even that would be more of a reason for me to believe that maybe he would come back. But from what I've read, and maybe I'm wrong, you guys let me know. But like, I just didn't see him seem like it was that big of a deal. It was like kind of like, oh, he died when I was younger because this man basically like got him killed. And then my mom got me married to this man, and that was pretty much it. And so again, if it was like more in depth, then maybe I would believe that he's gonna come back. But I don't know. I just don't have
Right.
very much stake in his dad's living. But do you guys think
can
that
see
he's gonna
that.
come back?
We don't think there's enough evidence to support that he's fully dead
Okay.
because he gets sent to Zilvarin. And I feel like the three siblings would have thrown it in Fisher's face a lot more if they had a body or if they knew how he was brutally murdered or anything like that. I feel like they would have mentioned it a lot more because they're malicious. Our thought was kind of in the vein that he gets sent to Zilvarin, but there's no real closure there and there's no body. And usually if there's no body and they get sent somewhere, I usually think in romantasy that they're not dead. People think that they're dead, but there's no body. There's no mention of how he actually died. So that led us to think that it was possible he could be alive. Michelle, you got to tell her your theory. Spill the tea.
So my theory is, when he came to Zilvarin to protect Callie, obviously, he brought him over for safety. And I think that he is actually, you know how Carrion took Hayden to the 7th to, have a happy life. He lives in an apartment above the shopkeeper's house, quiet life, makes money, all that stuff. I think he actually took him to Kingfisher's dad. And that's where he's staying. So I think he'll come back at some point just because in Carrion giving the backstory of like what happened to him, because he recalls that. He just talks about how, he was pulled out of the Quicksilver by one of Madra's servants. And then she was taken to the 3rd, or she took herself to the 3rd, and then it was passed down. But really, he doesn't talk about what happens to his dad after that. I think he still kept in contact with him because Malcolm even mentioned that she must have let one or two get out of the Quicksilver, meaning Carrion's 1, Dad's 2, and they're still there, and they just haven't gotten the traces of them. So that's what I think. Could be wrong. At first, I thought it was like the snake oil guy on the 3rd because he's like talked about magic and he's crazy. So I'm like, that'd be awesome. But yeah.
Okay. I could give some merit to that. I don't know. I never really like thought into it like that just because for me, it was one of those where it was like, sometimes, you just get backstory, but I could totally get with that because I do have that whole thought process whenever I'm like watching something. I'm always like, if there's no body, that person's not dead. So I just never think about it with stories like books because a lot of times it's just like, hey, we're just giving you a backstory. We just want to make sure you know about this character.
Fair.
So sometimes I'll think it if like there's more, in-depth things about it. But if not, I'm just kind of like, okay, they just gave us a backstory to make sure we understood the backstory of this person. But yeah.
Right.
And that could very well be because I think the real parallel for the two main characters, the real drivers of bringing them together is the fact that their mothers died the same way. Both of their mothers were murdered brutally by men that controlled them is what happened. And by men that they sort of trusted, but not really, that were end up being snakes in the grass. They both were brutally murdered. So that parallel, I think, is the one that Callie's trying to draw more of, which is why your focus kind of goes towards their moms more than their dads.
Okay. I did want to like, and I feel like maybe I'm like, my brain is just like cross-wiring with Shield of Sparrows right now. But I feel like,
we haven't started that.
No spoilers. No spoilers. But like, I thought that his mom died from childbirth from what's her name? From Everly.
That was a lie. He said that was a lie. As soon as he gave birth, he slit her throat, which is what happened to Saeris'.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was like, why am I thinking that? And that's not from
that's the lie he told everyone.
Like, yeah. I was like, okay.
Yeah, and that was kind of how he maintained power too. Was Belicon made it seem like, oh, he had this tragic loss and all of this, but really he didn't like the Oracle, which is what the Fae power that she had. Yeah, that she had. he didn't like what she was saying and he slit her throat. But
For
we
that.
know from Kingfisher that she couldn't lie in the same way that he couldn't lie, in the same way his father couldn't lie, because more than likely she took an oath of some kind, that the same one that Fisher had. And so she was honor bound. So it's not like she ever lied to Bellicon. But yeah, he slit her throat too. And so there's kind of that parallel between Saeris' mom and Fisher's mom, and that's like one of their bonding moments before when they're in Ballard, actually.
I remember
Yeah.
that part. I just honestly, like, when I heard that part, I was like, or when I read that part, I remember me being like, didn't she die from childbirth? I was like so confused. I was like, that's not the same, bro. Like, don't try to compare yours with her mom. Like, you guys are not the same. But that makes more sense.
But he knew. Yeah, he knew what Bellicon had done, which makes us think that maybe he witnessed that as well, the same way Saeris did.
Mhm.
We just don't get that firm confirmation that happens.
Okay.
But will Hayden be brought to Yavalia in Brimstone? And if he is, by whom?
I really hope he is. I was really expecting him to play a bigger part in Quicksilver. Like, it was like, I genuinely did. I thought that at some point he would be brought over, because honestly, like, in the beginning, I feel like we didn't get anything from him. We didn't even get to really like get to know his personality. We got nothing. It was like, hey, this is my brother. I want to protect him. I'm getting taken away. And I was just like, I want to know your brother. I want to understand him. I want to see like what your dynamic is like. You know what I mean? Like what you guys are to one another, especially because they were so dependent on one another throughout their whole life that it was like, I really wanted to get that brother-sister bond. And I don't know. I mean, to think that one of them would bring him over, maybe that's where his dad pops in. Maybe he'll be the one to bring him over. Maybe you guys are
Maybe.
right, and it'll be his dad that'll just carry him through. But otherwise, I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe now that Kingfisher and her are gonna have more of a solid bond, maybe he will make it more of a point to go over and get Hayden. I keep wanting to call him Carrion. To get Hayden. But yeah, like I
Again,
think
the same mistake as Fisher.
I know.
Brought the wrong one over.
Like, no smells involved here though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think that maybe it'll be Kingfisher again, just because of the fact that like I said previously, I'm really want more of like nice him. Like I really want to see his softer side, in at least towards Saeris. Maybe obviously not towards everybody else.
For Fisher?
But yeah, like I want to see Fisher's like moments of like his like, acts of valor to his mate. You know what I mean? Like that was like my one thing that I was like, they're mates. Be nice to her. Like I get, like if that was just somebody that you liked, I'd get why you would be so fucking mean to her. But you're so mean to her, and she's like, you're mate.
I think they will, because now the Quicksilver is like getting pulled out of his eye more. So he's not going to have all those like thoughts in his head that he has to battle. Because imagine like having those millions of voices in your head while trying to have a conversation with someone. Like that would drive me insane. Like I can barely hold a conversation with my toddler or my preschooler, talking in my ear. So I think we'll get more of that side, just because he's not going to have the Quicksilver in his head so much in Brimstone.
Yeah, but he was still so nice to other people throughout the book that I was just like, can you just chill? Can you chill? But that's why I started liking him more during that time frame after they went to the town and they were like had their moment together, because I feel like he like was starting to be more accepting of the fact that like, okay, like I'm not gonna push you away anymore. Like I'm like you're with me. Like this is what it is. You know what I mean? And I was like, okay, can we get to this extent? There's like certain things, and obviously that's a reader preference thing. I'm somebody that wants to see like, I want to see like, I like the sarcastic dude. I like the banter. I like you being mean sometimes. I just don't like you being so mean that I'm like, can you just chill? Can you be a little nicer to her? Like she's going through a lot too. She's like kind of stuck here, doesn't know if her family's dead. So can you just chill out?
Fair. Okay, fun question.
If you had a god sword, what magic would it have? It could be anything. Like no rules apply.
Yeah, no rules.
Yeah.
It's your god sword.
Honestly, I would want my god sword to like be able to just open up portals, for me to just be able to like walk to one
What?
space to another, just like cut through like the space of time and just walk to like another space, just like how Kingfish is able to open up his own portals or his own realm things. It'd basically be like a realm sword. Basically, you'd be able to cut through and like open up and walk to spaces. It'd be like no traffic, no nothing.
So it's
just
like you
go-
cut the
no
fabric
traffic.
of the world.
Tell me you
like,
live in
cut
Orlando
the
without
fabric
telling
of the
me you live
world,
in
right?
Orlando.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Like, I just don't want to have to go through any traffic. I want to be able to just take my sword, slice through the realms of time, just like opens up. I'm able to just walk through, go to the grocery store, pick up my stuff, walk through, go back to my house. I don't have to interact with anybody. I'd be like, hey, I'm never late to anything. I'm literally like at 2 minutes to go.
Danny would
walk
still
in.
be late if she had that power.
I would. I'd be like, it's only gonna take me like 3 seconds to open this portal.
Oh my god,
You
it'd make
know,
you
and
worse. You'd be
yeah.
like,
And
I'm
she'd be
like
20 minutes late.
Oh no.
I have intentions of being on time.
I know. I know you intend to.
Oh, it's okay.
I
I'm
do.
just starting to get
Yeah.
better at that now in life. And that was like not something that I could do for a very long time. I think it's just like over time I'm starting
No,
to
I
be like,
used to be
okay.
really good about it. And now I'm like,
Really?
I'll get there when I get. I think like motherhood made it 10 times worse.
I haven't gotten there yet,
Yes.
so
Yeah,
we'll
for sure.
reconvene during that time frame, and then you'll be able to be like, oh no, I was wrong. I didn't get better.
Yeah. But now
How-
I'm trying to get better now, but yes.
How about you
But
guys? What are
okay.
your swords?
So ripping in time.
What's your swords? Do you guys have swords?
Danny, do you want to give your sword?
No, you need to do
No?
yours.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I might have to I
Okay.
might have to rephrase if it sounds good enough.
So
You're gonna
mine
be
is like
disturbed.
dark. It's
Okay.
dark. Because I'm just thinking of like God sword in context of like the story. So I would, if I could, because I love Hades in Greek mythology, I
Okay.
would like a like soul eater sword. Like
Oh my
yoink,
God.
soul's gone. Just
So
like
wait.
chink, gone.
Question. Would you have to like stab this person for you to take the soul? Or would you have to like would you just like slice the air next to them? Like how would that work?
So either stabbing or there's like this beam that just like shoots through them. I'm thinking it's like purple. I just go purple. And like it just
Okay.
yanks their soul out. No soul
See,
for you. No afterlife. That's what you get.
Beam I feel like is more practical because I feel like it's like it would be way harder to like shank someone and then have to like look them in the eye and be like, all right, it'd be easier for you to be like, and almost like what is it?
And,
Like bippity
a
boppity boom. But like which is in a beam, so she would just be like and like next to them and
Y'all are dark. Oh my God.
just saying practicality.
Plotting the whole
man.
thing out.
She gets it.
Yeah, it's funny because we had this conversation and I forgot what I said. Shocker. So now I have to think of a new power. I for the life of me cannot remember what I said the first time we were talking about this question. So now I'm going to give myself a new power, which might be the same power because I can't remember what the other power was. So maybe they're the same. I don't know. With like something that basically can take out more than one at a time.
Oh.
Kind of like Lorith's thing, but maybe not so wild.
Okay.
His is just like take out everything with kind of no,
be like a whole like
I don't know,
what is
no
it, like a
destruction. I would rather have
radar?
like a clear, like I would rather like kind of mind speak to my sword to where I can be like, okay, it knows predictively what I want it to do.
Okay.
That would be really cool. Like I have a relationship, kind of like Saeris does with the Quicksilver, but like more of a one-way street. Like I don't want anything talking back. Like
yeah.
I
that
just
sounds
want to be like,
awful.
this is what we're doing.
Be like the one on the left, the one on the right, straightforward.
Well, yeah, I kind of like video game style where it like sees in my mind's eye and it knows what I'm trying to take out, and it kind of like helps me take it
So
out.
You want like an assistant
Yeah.
sword. It's like
Yes.
I want you to be my assistant. You like see what I want and you deliver it.
Right.
All right.
You know, or like if I'm taking out, like say there's a row of them and there are 3 or 4 deep in a row, and I go against one row and I just like, you know, it like takes out all the rows behind them too.
Okay. If
That
I'm
would be
doing it
ideal.
in context of the story, then probably
Mhm.
like I don't know, like a shield sword. So like you know how like the
Kind of like
hero-
that, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, I could see that.
So I would
Okay.
definitely want to do something like that, like a shield sword. It would be like you know how
Mhm.
like they have
The bubble.
Kind
Force field.
Yeah, kind of. Like, you know how like with like cars, they have like cars that are automatic that will like brake for you if like you're getting too close.
Mhm.
It would be almost like that, where like you'd be fighting and then somebody would come to your left and it would just like automatically block and like shield and like ding. And so you'd be like kind of drawn to these like, and so yeah, you just like never miss. It would just be you're consistently protected.
I also feel like that'd get really painful after a while. Like, how long am I doing
Your
this for?
arms are
How
just
long is this
yanking.
battle?
Hey, but you know what? If you're in a battle, I'd rather have something yanking my arm than a friggin' knife to the head.
I like.
Right. True.
What if we had like an electrical force field? Like, what if you had like a sword that was just like, and it's
That'd
like
be
a
cool
that's
too.
that's a noise for the ages.
Yeah, I
If
was
you
gonna say,
had
I was
like a
like Star
force
Wars.
field, yeah. No, but like you're in a bubble. So like if
Okay.
anyone tried to hit you with their sword, like your sword can like deflect electricity, but like their sword, this is how you use your sword, by the way. And their sword, anyone watching that, I'm so sorry. Their sword would be not able to get you because, metal, electricity,
Okay.
You
Okay.
know what I'm
I
saying?
could jump in on that. That's a good one too. So we've got Soul Sucker.
Soul
Gonna come up
Eater.
with- I like Soul Sucker better. Soul Eater. And then we've got Force Field.
We have assistant sword, which
Okay.
takes out more than one,
Assistant Sword.
like the
and
helper.
then- so the Helper, Soul
Mhm.
Eater, and No Traffic.
We'll be right there. We're coming to save the day. We have no traffic. We'll be there quick.
Perfect.
All right. So,
No one can stand in our way.
all right. Last question. What are you currently reading?
I am
Yeah.
currently reading Shield of Sparrows, and I'm actually starting
Oh, I just got
releasing
that one.
10. I'm about to start releasing 10. I might not finish Shield of Sparrows because my goodness gracious.
I'm so
Yeah.
excited about this one. I just got it. I just got it in the mail.
Yeah. So I'm almost done with Shield of Sparrows. I'm very much debating because I wanted to start releasing 10 today, but I was like, you have to finish Shield of Sparrows. And I also was like trying to make sure that I was caught up on everything for this.
Wait. What's that book releasing? What is that?
Releasing 10 is the sixth book in the Boys of Tomen series. And I am
What's
so
the
ready.
What's the premise of that?
Oh, the Boys of Tomen series? So the Boys of
Mhm.
Tomen series is it's contemporary, pretty much. It's contemporary. And this is going
Like
to sound
romance or not?
It's romance, but it's so hard to explain. I'm going to preface this with it is a book about teenagers in Ireland in 2005. Like it's set in 2005. So it's
Okay.
basically it starts out the first book premise, very very traumatic book series. The first book is essentially about
I'm
a
listening.
girl. It's essentially about a girl who has a very abusive father, and she lives with her and her. She's the middle of, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kids. She's the middle of 6 kids.
Oh wow.
And she basically, her and her older brother essentially take care of the younger siblings. And the mom got pregnant when she was like 14, gave birth when she was like 15. So she's very like broken, like in her head. And the girl basically gets really bad hazed, like really bad at school, to the point where her mom takes her out and puts her in a private school college, or not college, but that's what they call it there. It's a private school, high school. And she goes there and essentially she meets this boy who is training to be a rugby star. And it's pretty much the story of their love story and how him and his family essentially changed her and her family's life. And it is super traumatic. I've never laughed so hard and then cried so hard in a series before. I genuinely went into this series thinking that I was not going to love it. I was like, no, it's about teenagers. Like I'm not going to be able to relate to this. I put it off for so long. And then finally I was like, you know what, whatever, like I'll try it. Who cares? And then I was just like, could not stop. I actually got one of my friends into it and she was saying the same thing. She was like, oh, it's about teenagers. I was like, yeah. And then she like listened to it and she was like, I am like so invested. She was probably the first person I sent that book cake to. And she was like, why am I crying again? And that cake it's like going crazy everywhere. Like people just like love this series. It's so
Yeah, it was a really cool cake.
Yeah, and it's such a sad, there's such sad parts, but it's such a beautiful story. Like when I tell you this is like my Roman Empire, like it has become my Roman Empire, and I'm so excited for this next book. I know it's gonna break me, and I'm gonna be so shattered. I'm gonna be crying so much, but
Is the book following the same like each book is following the same two, or is it how is that set up?
the first two books is following the girl and her and the boy. And then the third and the fourth book are following, it's kind of like going through that same timeline, but based on her brother's story and her older brother. She has two older brothers, but the oldest brother basically leaves when she's like 10 or something like that, 9 or 10. He turns 18 and he's just like, I can't do this shit anymore, and like leaves. And so the oldest brother, her next older brother, like basically takes care of like all of them. And it follows him and his girlfriend's story for the third and fourth book, but it's, you'll already have like a headspace. Like I already had in my headspace, like his story was going to be like probably way heavier than her story. And her story is already kind of heavy, but her story is kind of like first love type of thing. Her story is like first love. His story has more to do with like addiction and like really, really heavy stuff on the third and the fourth book. And a lot of stuff, you find out a lot of things that were going on in the first two books that she had no idea about and that he was battling and going through. And then after that book, the fifth book is about the main guy in the first book. The first and second book is his best friend, who's like the comic relief that you'll fall in love with him. And his story is really dark too. And then now this next book is another girl in the group and her love story with the dude that's another part of the group. Like it's basically like there's a whole group there. So it's called Boys of Tomen because they all go to Tomen College, which is what they call the high school that they all go to. And so that's why it's called Boys of Tomen. So it's basically like their whole friend group kind of thing.
I had a pool party, and a friend at a pool party recommended the Boys of Tomen to us at the pool party. And she said the same thing. She was like, I was going to read it. I really did not want to read a book about teenagers, high schoolers. And now
I'm everything.
Book 3. Everything. So you should read it. And I was like, and she is getting kind of back into reading. So like, you know how you're like really, at least for me, I was like very picky at that time, even more than I am like now, I would say. I'm still picky now, but like I feel like at that time when I first started jumping back into reading, I was like, I really want to read something that I like to read. I don't want to waste my time reading anything I don't want to read. And so she was kind of saying that, where I was like, okay, if she's saying that, I might have to. And then now Natalie's saying that, I might have to dip my toe.
So, oh my God,
into this world.
Everything. It's everything. I genuinely I'm like searching, you know, when you're like searching for a book series that's gonna like consume you, that you just like really, really want to like, because like, I mean, obviously you guys read a lot. I read a lot. It's you have a lot of books you're interested in. You have a lot of books that you like, and you have a lot of books that you're interested in. But I have had very few books that I feel like really like it all consumed me, where I felt like I was like, I want so badly to go back into this world, and I like really, really like it's hard for me to pull away. This is that series for me. Like I was just like, it was so hard for me. Like there were parts that were slow in the beginning because they were, you know, building things up. But once I think like towards the end of, I think the first book going into the second book, and then beyond that, like I was done. I was like, I'm completely like invested in these characters. I want to know what's going to happen. I want to see their happy endings. I want to see resolution, because they go through so much, like so much turmoil, so much freaking angst. There's so much like just heartache, but then there's also really funny moments and really like beautiful moments. And like, I don't know. I recommend this book series to everybody. I think that you guys should try it.
All right. You're selling it. That's for sure.
Yeah. And so, yeah. And then today, Chloe Walsh, she shared it on her story, and I freaked out. the cake.
She did?
Yeah.
The cake?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I had like such a moment. I was like, because I was like, the
That's
thing
so
is,
big.
Yeah, on
That's
her
exciting.
story, I was like, oh my gosh, it's release day too. So I was like, it's on the story.
It's a huge
So
deal.
excited.
That's awesome. Congratulations, Natalie.
Yeah.
It's like all the anytime an author shares, I'm like, really? That's your art. That's your stuff. I'm just like interpreting it. So like,
But it's a testament
Speaking
to your work and your creativity and your ability to capture stories in cake form, which is so difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. It's
It really is.
definitely been an interesting ride. And I'm very excited to see where it goes because man, there's a lot of interesting stuff on the books I can't talk about, but
I
you
was
guys
just
will
going to
see.
ask.
You guys will see later this
Yeah.
year.
I'm excited. Speaking of exciting things, I think you and I are we're gonna do like an event. We're gonna tag up more details to come, but
Yeah.
we might get some Quicksilver cookies or a cake coming your way if you're an Orlando local. We might have an event for you where you might get to just have a little sample of Nat stuff, and NatJustCakes might be part of an event with Authentic Books, a ticketed event here very, very soon towards the end of June. And we're really, really excited about that. Natalie, it's always a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you.
And would you come back? Would you come back and hang out with us? Okay.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you
this
back.
is always a fun time
Always
for
happy
me.
to
So
have you.
thanks for having me.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us again. We love having you here. And I can't release what we're going to be covering next, but I can tell you that NatJustCakes will be part of an event with us here very, very soon. We're really excited to have her. We're always happy to have her on the show. We love all the book talk you bring and theories and thoughts and all that good stuff. So it's pretty awesome. It's awesome to have you. And that's all I have. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you
Thank
for
you,
having
Natalie.
me. Thank you for having me.
Hey, Valerie, thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Always excited to talk books with you. Can you go ahead and give our listeners your handle on your socials
Perfect.
so they can give you a follow?
Sounds good. It's at Valerianoda.
Awesome. Listeners, make sure you follow her
Yes,
and
queen.
her content.
Yeah.
Are you?
We love Valerie.
So let's hop into Quicksilver. So what overall did you like about Quicksilver?
Oh,
Yeah. Would you like?
you know what? I've read it twice, so I will say I liked it more the second time than my first time.
Valid.
I think it was maybe the first time I was overwhelmed by all the information, maybe, or I had too many books
That's
going
fair.
on at the same time. But the second time I was like, okay, this is a really good book. Like, this is really well done. So I absolutely loved the of magic and world building. Like, it's just such a unique book in the sense, like, I've never read a book where it has, fae and vampire and kind of that combination. And I don't think I appreciated it very much the first time I read it. Whereas this time I'm like, wow, this world of magic that she's building is really unique. It's unlike anything really I've read before, which I really appreciated and actually made me enjoy the book a lot more. I love the combination of like lore. Like, it just has a lot of lore in it and it was done really well. It didn't feel like,
It does.
yeah, sure, it was overwhelming the first time, but I think that was just more me than the book itself. But the second time I was like,
Fair.
this is really great. Like, this is really well done. I think it's very appropriately hyped book. And I almost needs to be like a little bit more talked about a little bit more even.
I
Okay.
agree.
How did you listen to it? Like, did you listen to it? I know you are an audiobook girly. We love our audiobooks.
Yeah.
You read it twice. So how did you consume it each time?
So the first time I did combination, so I would kind of bounce based on what I was doing. And I think that was part of the problem because when I was reading it, I wanted to listen. But when I was listening, I almost wanted to read it because I would be missing details. Whereas this time I went full just audiobook. I was like, I'm just going to go full blown audiobook. And I actually was like taking notes as I was reading because there were moments where I'd be like, pause that. And if I couldn't find it, then I'd go into my book and be like, where was that? And it almost made it like the voices and the characters made it a little bit more real for me this time.
It's such a good audiobook.
It's such a good audio.
It's so good.
Exactly. Like the casting on that and the fact that it's like just two narrators. Anthony Palmini does an amazing job with all the male voices. Like it's so well done.
Yeah, he really does.
Yeah.
Incredible.
The Kingfisher voice in those chapters. Whew.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Like yeah. And And honestly, the first time I listened to it, I think I got distracted because it's also the same voice who does Rhysand in the ACOTAR audiobooks. And I think that was
I
part
didn't
of the
know that.
Yeah. And I think that was part
Okay.
of the problem too for me because I was like, it was confusing my like just my brain.
You're
And
reading.
and whereas this time
Right.
I'm like, I know the story, it's not Rhysand, it's Kingfisher. And so I was able to like just blot that out. And I realized his voice is actually very different than like he even makes it different in this book. And I was like, oh, I really love this voice actor.
So good.
Yeah.
If you had any dislikes, what would you say?
I think it's not a big dislike, but I wanted more about Kingfisher. Actually, like I know that this is just the intro book and like there's only so much information we can have about the main characters, but I just wanted a little bit more background on Kingfisher, just a little bit more. And even a little bit more about Saeris. There was just like a little bit where I was like, I just need more. But really, like, it's probably coming in book 2. Like, you know, like I just have to be patient. So it's not really a dislike.
Right.
I enjoyed the book, but like it feels like a really minor to it.
Have you read the bonus chapters? Any of the bonus chapters?
I knew you were going to ask me that because my friend asked me the same question and I have not. And she said that would change.
That's okay.
And she said
That's
that
fair.
would change.
Oh yeah,
Perception.
that would change your
Oh,
whole
yeah.
perspective because you get 2 Kingfisher point of view chapters.
Yeah.
One is at the end of the Kindle version,
Right.
and then another one is on her website, and then you have 2 which are prequel chapters that are really great prequel chapters that are why Kingfisher is Kingfisher of the Agent Gate. And like the song Laura sings and everything, it's like that story.
Okay,
and it's
well,
really, really cool.
There you go. See? Now, like,
So wish has been granted.
Yeah.
You go
There
right
we go.
after this
Exactly.
and go
So
read
then
them
I
for
will
your
have
own. Yeah.
no dislike of the book then once I do this because my question will be
Exactly.
Mhm.
Send all anyone who already is following Miss Valerie, you're gonna have to send them to these bonus chapters too. Make sure you let them know because it is, once you read them, you're gonna be like, oh.
Opens your mind.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's what I
Makes a
had
lot more
heard.
sense.
And I know my friend, she's going to be like, you still have not read those bonus chapters? I know that's what she's going to say. So, no, I haven't.
But
I will do
also, we
that.
would know more about Kingfisher if he wasn't just brooding and pissy all the time.
Yes.
So
Well, exactly. Like, there were
Also.
moments where I was like, come on, just say something else. I do
her a little
appreciate,
bit.
yeah, I do appreciate a grumpy, broody man all the time. But there were moments where I was like, can you not just like grunt or growl? Like, come on, give me something.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
All right, so next question. Which scene are you most looking forward to seeing on Netflix when this is a movie or series adaptation?
There would be 2, only because I am curious how they will make it come to life in the way I see it in our mind. I think it's the very close to the beginning when Saeris goes through the Quicksilver the first time. So when she's fighting...
Very cool scene.
Yeah, like
Heron?
the whole scene, like Heron, thank you. She gets stabbed and like the metal, like his sword melting. Like there's just so many elements in that scene that I feel like you have to execute that perfectly because in the book, it's so vivid. It's described so vividly that there's no way, like you've got an image in your mind of what that looks like. And I feel like the line between like making it look really good and cheesy is very small because that Quicksilver has to look really incredible.
Yeah, it has to look right.
Yeah.
Right? Exactly. And I know like technology and all that will probably make it happen, but you have like it has to be done right.
Though, yeah, exactly. I agree.
And then
There was the second one.
It would be the labyrinth. That whole scene with the labyrinth, because again,
good
you
choices.
have the obsidian, you have like the monsters, you have like
more thrill.
Exactly, right? Like you got to execute him properly, and also like that feeling of like fear, right? When you're going through something, like it has to be portrayed so well and realistic. And so I know casting is going to be a huge factor to make that done well, but also the CG elements are going to have to be spot on.
And the score,
Right.
like the music has to be right.
Yes.
They have to have the right person. And I actually did a post. I did a post that had Game of Thrones music and the score, one of the songs from Game of Thrones. And then I was just like, that made me think of the score has to be right for this movie. Like it has to be right. And that's why Game of Thrones is so successful. It's also filmed. The locations are incredible. They did such a great job with it. But like the additional layer to that is each scene of like each different character had its own like theme. You knew when you were going to each character, and like the way that they did that was just so beautifully done. So I'm hoping that they really budget enough money for this film, because this book is so visual that, like you said, Valerie, if they don't get it right, they're gonna fuck it up, and I'm gonna be pissed. So like, please spend the money. You have enough people who want to see this. Like, please, Netflix, we beg.
Absolutely. And like,
I'm like concerned about how they're going to do the mind speaking, because that's such a big part of it, and that can sound really cheesy. And like I'm that's the part I'm worried about. Either they're gonna cut it, which is like you can't. That's a huge component to the story, or it's I don't know.
That's very good
this one thing.
Yeah, they can't cut it because it starts from like the very beginning, like that
exactly
goes, it's the
but
whole
it's also
book.
how they survive. Yeah, at the end, that's how they survive the labyrinth.
Exactly.
Like, that's the mind speak is how they get through that. There's no way you can't.
Right.
They're gonna have to.
But sometimes in movies, it just sounds so cheesy, like how they have like the echoing. So they're I don't know. I'm worried about that. How it's
the
going to
sound. The voiceover has to be
characters.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. That. And it's true, like no music, right? Music and voices and all that evokes emotion, right? And so if you want to feel like you did in that book, like when you were reading it, you have to get it spot on. So yes, Netflix, if you see this, you've got to spend a lot of money on their score. You have to. Like, it's
production,
just
no options.
Value.
You're going to anger the book community.
These are huge books. Like the book community for these books is so massive that like, yes, if you don't do it right, like it'll be its own pandemonium in terms of like reviews and everything. So,
and it just has such a following already, and it's only book one. Like, it's just going to get bigger and bigger as we progress. And I think that there's an urgency behind it of like trying to catch the wave of it being popular, but there's also like, do it correctly, please. We beg you. Do it like Bridgerton season 1. If you're getting Netflix, that's they picked up Bridgerton and they did an amazing job with it.
Amazing.
And I'm really hoping they did with that first season. I can't, there were changes later, but the first season they did a really good job. I didn't read the book, so I can't speak to that point, but I can say that like they did. Shondaland did all these extra things with it. So I'm hoping that they go to do this with Quicksilver, that they do it right.
Yeah.
And they don't skip a bunch of stuff. Like, let's hope. Fingers crossed.
Hope not. Like,
those are great choices.
Yeah, and I would watch like a 5-hour movie. You know what? If you had like part 1, part 2, or like as a series, I would spend the time to watch that if it's executed properly.
If they start filming and they're like, oh, this is going to be way longer than we thought it, we might need to cut Quicksilver into 2 movies. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I'd rather cut into 2 movies instead of cut.
What's 100%. The problem here? I'm getting 2 movies. Yeah. I'm happy. Fine with
and
me.
I think that's
cut
more
it into
of
2
the
movies.
Trend. But like that's more of the trend that we see, like these series being like an episode will be like the length of a movie. And 100%. Like then doing series like Netflix, HBO, they're doing like very similar to Game of Thrones. I think a couple of the Game of Thrones episodes were like an hour and a half to almost 2 hours long. Yeah. So
I'm here for it.
People love it.
And people loved it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we want the storytelling. We want it done correctly. These are characters that we adore. Like, we want to make sure that they're given the time on screen that, like, you don't need to rush it. Exactly. Who are you rushing it for? Exactly. We're the ones who want to watch it. Like, you don't need to rush.
And
don't
I feel
rush
like
it,
realistically, if they did part 1 and it explodes, Netflix is going to get more funding for it. So it's like, just do it right. Yeah. Because then you're going to have money to do part 2 or part 3, however it's going to look in an even like better way. So just do it right.
Yep. Yeah, agreed.
Hear that, Netflix, do it right.
Yeah.
Yes. Next question. Juicy one. Who, if anyone, is going to die in book 2, Brimstone?
Well, I mean, we know 2 people have to die. We know that 2 people have to die. We have,
Why do 2 people have to tell me
well,
why?
Madra, we know that she escaped. We know she has to die. Like, I will accept no alternative with her alive. Like, she has to die. She can no longer be queen. And Bellicon, like, I do not accept that
Okay.
that they will continue on beyond, like, they have to. They're evil people. There's no way that
Well,
they're...
Madra dips.
Well,
She went right back to Zilvarin.
exactly, right? So, like,
Or
I just...
did she?
Or
She just
somewhere.
dips.
She went
She
somewhere.
just dips,
she just
right?
dips.
So I feel like those 2 are automatics for me. And I'm not sad about it. Like, it's
Okay.
just like, go. In terms of characters we
Oh.
like, I'm so
And
sad.
you're going to do it to us, Valerie.
I'm
Come
so
on.
sad to even
Tell
say it, but side characters that are loved almost always have to go for whatever reason.
Who?
I think
it
Carrion
gonna be?
is going to die. I don't know why.
No.
I don't know
take him
why.
from us.
But I love him. We all love him. But I just feel like he's been out of the Fae realm for so long that it's going to come and bite him in the ass somehow. Like, we love him for how honest he is, but he's going to upset the wrong person. Sure, he's got his god sword, but he's going to do something, whether it's on his own account or he's going to die by saving Sarah. Like, it's going to be either like which is probably more the direction it's
Sacrifice.
going to go. It's more of a sacrifice. He's going to save her. And so he's got to go. I don't want him to go.
Don't
We
like
love him, but I just can't.
No, I hate it.
I just can't see him continue on. I don't know why, but I know.
I'm ready for him to stake his claim.
I mean,
And push
Yeah.
Bellicon
He has a whole
off. Like,
story
Bellicon,
arc.
you're gone.
well,
Yeah, he's a story arc he hasn't finished.
for
That's
sure.
what I'm thinking.
I like that. I prefer
But also,
that.
I do see what you're saying, though, on the same vein of, like, he fulfilled his destiny of, like, getting rid of Malcolm.
Yeah, he did, right?
In
and
one,
like,
in one part of it. Yeah,
and
you could spin it that way.
and is he really going to take over, or will someone like Everlane take over?
I don't know, but it
I don't think
also
she'd be a
leads
good
to
queen.
think no. But I also think that not that we dislike
Well,
Everlane, we like
no.
her.
No,
But I do think
yeah.
Carrion would be a better fit. This is a nightmare story.
Yeah.
It's not a fairy tale.
Mm-hmm.
All of these characters have had really shitty lives.
Yeah,
There's no sugarcoating that.
no,
I think Brimstone, we're gonna have more shittiness go
Mhm.
on, and it's said. I mean, that's facts. Like that, this is what is alluded to by the god of chaos
yes.
when she goes. Like he says that to her.
Yeah.
Hey, if you choose to go back, just know there's this big dark cloud coming to hang out over. And she's like, what do you like? She's like, I guess I'll go back, but like, also, hasn't there already been like a dark cloud my whole freaking
Well-
life? But okay, cool. You know?
That vein of
like-
thought has me thinking, because Zareth says that there has to be a counterbalance to Saeris and Fisher. What do we think the
Yes.
counterbalance is? Or who have we seen the counterbalance? Or like, what is that going to be? Do you have any idea?
I don't know if we've seen it. That's a good question. That's a good question.
I haven't thought about it either. And we just like put this on you randomly.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I-
I just
no,
literally just
I
thought
mean-
of it as you were talking.
Well, we know that magic always requires
Organic
balance,
questions.
Right?
Which means it has to be two people that come together, whether they're mated or not. Just two people coming together to be their counterbalance. So evil.
But don't they already have that with Madra and
Jen-
Bellicon?
yeah.
Is that not enough?
Right, but I guess it's not. I mean, it could be. But the way Zareth was saying it, it sounds like it's
It alludes
not.
that there's someone they
I mean,
haven't met their match against.
Unless if it's
Right.
Thadeus and someone we don't know.
Mm.
So that's kind of my thing is like,
Like-
I don't think we know very many people at all.
No.
I actually think we know very little about this world. And we don't know anything about the vampire lords or
Nothing.
any
The
of
witches.
the hierarchy
witches,
to that, the
ex-
witches.
Exactly.
We don't know shit. We know very little in this first book. And like she has so much power to like expand this world. Even Zilvarin, like we know so little. We don't even get a map
No.
of Zilvarin. Like we know so little of this world that it's really so much speculation. And there's so many little you know, a
Yeah.
lot of people criticize this book for being like too on the nose. And I'm like, I think you missed a
think it is.
lot. Like there's a lot of layers to this book that
100%.
it's not on the nose. Like they're like, oh, you know, Kingfisher and Saeris were insta love. Like I saw that everywhere. They're like, oh, I hate how it's insta love. And I was just like,
I didn't see that.
did you read the same
Yeah,
book? Because I felt like, yeah, they had
Pretty sure he was
instant
pissy, though.
chemistry.
for sure.
Right.
Yeah, instant chemistry
For
for
sure.
sure. There's no denying that there was instant chemistry there, but
The
the love
love
was. I didn't read that anywhere.
No.
on the
That
page.
wasn't
Like,
on page. I mean, it's there was, at least with Kingfisher, because he like knew, but we actually didn't read
Right.
that on page.
No.
That's like
No,
once we hit the POV and we
Yeah.
actually like hear him say it, like, actually I felt this way this whole time, but we did not
Mhm.
read that on page. From Saeris' perspective, he hated her guts. And
100%.
she like
Yeah.
kind of struggled with whether she hated him or
Mhm.
wanted to jump his bones.
100%.
So, you know, it wasn't
Unless
wasn't
if they
insta-love.
associated their
then-
like scents to each other, like the fact that like they loved how each other
Yeah.
smelled as insta love, but that to me wouldn't
no,
be
it's
it.
still chemistry though.
It's chemistry, exactly.
And then
Yeah.
I feel like too the other side of that is Kingfisher even making the claim of like, oh, he instantly loved her as soon as he saw her. He's been fucking carrying a picture of her around
Yes.
for like over like hundreds of years
Like,
that his mother drew.
Give a
So
guy
again,
a break, you know?
Not
Like,
instant, you know? Like he finally meets her. Of course he's gonna love her.
Yes.
His mother, the only other woman he's loved, aside from Everlane, who's a sister, but like, you know, that he cared for deeply, predicted this for him. So of
And-
course he's gonna be like, she's the most precious thing I've ever seen.
course.
And that still doesn't seem instant to me at all.
No, and
the man
how-
waited like 1,000 years for her.
And how is that any different than other Fae romances where they have like a vision of their mate or a dream, like before they meet them
Right.
as well? Like it's kind of the same thing, but we wouldn't classify those either as insta
I
love.
feel like people tend to like stack other Fae books together and they're like,
Yes.
oh, well, it all happened in book 1. So, and I'm like, well, we still don't know, which is bringing me to my next
Yeah.
question. This is a very good segue into the next question, which
Mhm.
is, what are your thoughts on Thadeus and what him turning Saeris could mean? Is there a bond there?
So the first time I read it, 100%, I was like, they're bonded. This is going to impact the mating bond somehow. Like, you know, like, and it goes back to like vampire lore, right? Like what you know of it, it's like it's there, they turn them, it becomes their like mate, quote unquote. I don't know if they use those terms, but I think like they are now forever interlinked because they have shared blood. So actually, I thought for sure, I'm like, this is going to be a problem. But the second time I read it, I still believe there is a bond, but I don't think it's going to be stronger than the god bond that they have, that Kingfisher and Saeris have. I think it might be more like a teacher kind of like a, what's the word I'm looking
Mentor
for?
type
Mentor
person.
bond. Yeah.
Mhm.
Only because Thadeus was trying to explain already in that chapter about his own experience. So I feel like it's going to be more like a friendship mentor type bond versus like a love bond. Do I think there'll be temptation? Yes, I do. Like I think there will be probably some like unexplainable.
unavoidable.
Yeah, like
pull towards each other.
100%.
mhm.
Like they'll be
Okay.
able to feel maybe some certain emotions, some lust, probably. Like I'm going to anticipate that there will be some of that, but the God bond is going to trump that in the end. But I do think
Okay.
it will cause some tension. Like I do think there will be some challenges because
So
of
we see
that.
it coming up in Brimstone for sure, regardless.
I
We
think
feel like
so,
it's going
yeah.
to come up in Brimstone and
Yeah.
we're going to have to feel it out. Okay.
Mhm.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's pretty spot on.
Mhm.
I think that the question I have is, we know Callie Hart historically is a dark romance writer. So, and this book is pretty nightmarish. And so
Mhm.
my thought is like, how dark are we going to go, Callie? Like where are we going in Brimstone? What are we going
Yeah.
to do here? And you kind of shifting genres slightly. Is this like a dark romantasy? Is this what we're seeing? Is where does book 2
Mhm.
go? Because the Thadeus bond thing could get very dark very quickly.
Yes.
It gets a slippery slope of how that could all kind of play out. Especially, she has a lot of nods to vampire lore, like old school vampire lore and things like that have been written, a long time ago, the Anne Rice type lines of thinking and things like that, where the silver affects them having to be let in. Yeah. Consent, stuff like that. Those are pieces of the vampire lore that come into play in this series. And so I wonder, we'll just have to see how that all
I think that's so true.
Unravels.
And I'm curious as well, like we don't know if Saeris is going to be able to leave that kind of kingdom. Is that forced proximity going to be a big issue that kind of sparks some of that? Because I doubt Kingfisher is going to be staying there the whole time. Like we know he's not. He has other things he has to do.
He has to go back to college.
Right.
But she's not trapped there, which is a pretty cool thing because magic is back.
That's true.
So now we're going to have to see.
I just see like how long can she leave, like based on her duties as a queen, like.
How long is she going to be okay? Like, is she going to be like unmanaged? Like, how long is she going to be like comatose in the beginning of Brimstone?
Yeah.
Where things are happening around her versus her being actually present and functioning.
And how much of that?
How long will it take for her to be used to her new body?
Exactly. And I'm wondering how much I think Thadeus have to guide her through that. And that's where like that closeness that. Yeah.
There's probably, he's already guided. Yeah. Like you said, he's already guided her. And with the conversation that they have at the end, he's already alluded to the fact that she is very like healing very quickly because it took her a couple of days what took him 6 months to be able to like not just throw up all the time. So I think it's going to be a lot quicker. I mean, if everything's from Saeris's perspective, besides the prologue, because we now know that the prologue is going to be Kingfisher POV, what I think from Saeris's perspective, it's going to feel slower. But in terms of like time frame, I don't think it's going to be that long where she's like comatose.
No,
Yeah,
I think
that's fair.
And I wonder if that's part of that Fae blood now too, right? Because they've never had someone who's half, right? And like we know that the Fae, based on like things that they heal quickly or quicker. So if that's part of what's helping her heal, but I'm very curious of what she's going to bring to the table, like what kind of magic, what her connection with the Quicksilver will be now that she's more powerful.
Well, she's her own
I think
thing.
Callie, because she left it open to debate because she's like, we don't know what aspects of either side you even took. Like you're just completely new. So she literally was just like, you guys can figure it out later.
Yes,
I'm not going to give you any
Tell
hints.
give me ideas with all your theories. Yeah, exactly.
All right, so let's move into next question. So do you think Kingfisher's dad is actually alive, or do we think that he died in Zilbaran?
I think he's alive. Alive.
Okay.
Yeah. I think
he's alive. Do you think
alive.
we've seen him?
Oh, good question. I mean, it's possible, but I don't think so.
Okay.
And the reason why I think he's alive, there was when they went to Kalish, Kingfisher has said that it's shielded by his father's magic. Like he was the one who placed the shield. And he was saying then it goes to him, right? And the fact that it has not gone to him, like that just felt like a little nugget of information that I was like, so he's got to be alive if you know it hasn't gone to you yet as like the heir. Like you would
the protection.
Exactly. Like it almost felt, I'm like, are you just telling us now that he's still alive? I wonder if I wrote it down. I had some notes on my phone, so let me see. But I believe it's when they arrived to Kalish and he was talking to Saeris about the shield.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I have the same line of thought, but not because of that point. I completely missed that point. I was like, oh, shields, okay. I was just like thinking like maybe it's like I don't know, like a rune, Fourth Wing. It's like a rune in Fourth Wing where you just make it and you place it and it's there. It doesn't matter if you're dead or alive. So that's what I was thinking, but that's a good point.
Yeah,
I'm
pretty sure that's what he said, was that if it will eventually pass to him. Like I could have sworn that's what I heard. now I'm like, did I hear that? That sort of was like the first thing. I'm like, he's got to be alive then if Kingfisher isn't the one with the protection for Kalish. So that was my first thing with it. And I just think it seems like they mentioned him so many times in the book that I didn't pay attention the first time. Like they talked about his dad, that I was like, Kingfisher was like full out said, my mother died. But I don't remember him saying like my father. I think he said my father was killed.
No,
but I don't know if he's ever.
No, he says he went to Zilvarin.
Yeah.
He was just in Zilvarin. Like, we don't. And
right?
Callie Hart didn't explicitly said he's dead.
Exactly.
So that's why we think he's definitely alive. And most authors, if it's not on page, they're alive.
Exactly. And then with the shields, and then I was like, he's got to be either trapped in like another realm, kind of like Carrion was, waiting for the Quicksilver to like open some magic, or he's in hiding and has what's the term when they glamoured, and he's glamoured himself to look like somebody else.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thought too. Now I have to find
I know
where this is. I'm going to come back and look up where that is, because now I'm like, that is such a nugget that I missed.
I know.
Amazing.
I might just have to like search a shield on my phone and then on my Kindle app before I had the book. So maybe it'll tell me what page it's on. But
yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you think Hayden is going to be brought into Yuvelia?
Yes.
In Brimstone?
Yes, I do. I think either Kingfisher or Carrion are going to go and get him. Probably it could be Carrion because he knows what he looked like. So it would be like and he knows where he is. Like he basically put him in a safe place. So I wouldn't be surprised if they both travel, or he just goes on his own to get her. I would love to see them both traveling, because I think it would like be a really funny dynamic, because Kingfisher gets annoyed with him. And so I actually think it would be like a really good bantering or a few chapters if they went together.
Do we think Saeris, I kind of think Saeris isn't going to trust herself enough at first to make that trip, but she's going to want her brother. So I think that I agree that I don't think she's going to go. No. I think someone else is going to get her too.
Yeah. I don't think it'll be her. It's definitely going to be somebody else. And I would love it to be Carrion. I would love it for
that would be pretty great.
Yeah.
I would love a Carrion point of view, so it's not just like, Carrion's going to get him.
That would be really great. Yes, that would be really good.
Well, Carrion's the one that knows where he is specifically. He's the one that brought him there.
And I would just love to see the dynamic of like Hayden and being like, what the heck? And then seeing his sister. Like it would just, I mean, he's going to be in shock for quite a while. But I just,
he will not be okay.
No, definitely not. But I feel like there's always.
Do we think that maybe Hayden's hiding like a power or something? Because Saeris, she kept that pretty hidden, and who knows how much Hayden actually knew about Saeris's power. He was pretty kind of self-centered, and maybe that could have been a front to something as well. So do we think Hayden has some Fae in him and maybe potential power?
Originally I thought no, but I would love the idea of him to have like a little of Fae, or like a little, just something so that he feels like he fits in, because I feel like Hayden is one of those characters that like, even in the book at the, like when Saeris obviously says hurtful things so that he would leave, I'm sure there's something that he believes part of that is true. And I just feel like there's always a sibling who feels left out. And I just kind of like want to squash that from the beginning. So I hope he has a little bit, just so it makes it for like an easier transition.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I hope so too. I mean, he would have to if he's their sibling. More than likely, he should have some kind of Fae blood, depending on how it's like thinned over time or whatever. But exactly. We could talk about that too.
Yeah. I really hope so.
Fun question. If you had a god sword, what kind of magic would it have?
This question, I had to think about this one for a while. I was like, and they all came kind of back to a very similar thing. So I would want my god sword to be one that's handed down versus like newly made. It's almost like an ancestral sword of sorts.
Okay.
And
We've given this thought.
Yeah,
I like
have,
it. Keep
yes.
A
going.
lot of thought.
so I would love for it to, if it did go like ancestrally, that it carries those ancestral bonds so that it has almost like a memory to it, so that when you are in battle, you assume the power from past battles and like past memories, so that you are then become a better fighter because you learn the
like
muscle.
the Avatar. It's like the Avatar. Not the blue people, but like actual Avatar.
Oh, I thought
What?
yeah. And so yeah, like
The Airbender?
No, I mean I never know.
I don't know anything. I don't know what that is.
So it would just be
Oh.
like, I would assume
Early millennial. Okay.
like the magic
Fine.
of the people who used it. So I would become a better fighter, and it would have the power of past battles in it. So then it's like a super elite, powerful sword.
Wow.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's epic.
I can't believe no one
I love
else
it
has
too.
watched Avatar.
Yeah.
You know,
Nay,
I've
not
heard
really.
of it, but I never watched it. That was not
The Last Airbender? No.
No.
Right?
That's fair.
Isn't that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
last Airbender because he's like, because the Avatar can
Yeah.
talk to like his past generations and get like
Oh.
strength and power and guidance from them. So that's why my mind
There you
went there.
go. Yeah, okay.
So
That makes sense. Yeah. That's definitely the kind of sword I would want.
that's awesome.
Nice.
Lots of thought into that
Lots
one.
of thought. That question, I was like, I'm gonna have to think about this because like that's not usually like the creative side of my brain. So I really sat down and thought about it.
Yo, you gave it. That was great.
Yeah.
That was a great response. I love it.
Thank
yeah.
you.
Would not want to mess with you.
No,
Definitely
no,
not.
exactly.
Steer clear. But we do want you on our team.
Yeah,
Please.
exactly.
Yeah.
How about you guys? I'm curious.
Please join our wolves. Go ahead, Michelle.
Oh,
You go
mine's
first.
dark. I feel like mine's
Ooh.
just
Hers
like
is dark.
terrible. No, because I really love Greek mythology and I love Hades. So I'm
okay,
like,
yeah.
would be really cool is just like my sword, like I like either cut you or send like this like blast of energy and just takes your soul away. And
I
there you
like
go,
that.
no afterlife for you.
Yeah.
Soul eater.
Soul Eater.
You mess
there
with
you
me,
go.
you don't
I like
have
that.
eternity.
Yeah.
You just poof, gone from
I
eternity.
like that.
No
Yeah.
ancestral thing, just
Yeah.
gone.
Okay. We need some of those too, like
What we do, I would gladly just take the souls of
yeah.
our enemies. I'll take that for the team. I'll bear that burden.
So mine
Right,
would
Danny?
be, yeah, I still think mine would be like, it could be like a wave. So if there's multiple enemies at once, I only have to touch like the first one and it will take out all the ones behind it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I like that.
And it will just know, like,
Yeah.
like kind of a brain connect, kind of like the Quicksilver thing
Yeah.
where I'm like, can mine speak to my sword? And I'm like, all of them. And it knows what that means.
That's
Oh.
cool.
And it just
Oh.
like, yeah, I just hit the one and it just takes them all out
I like
behind
that.
them. So between the three of us,
I mean, we've got it all. We've got strength,
No,
we've
it's
a
got
chance.
souls, we got masses. So
yeah,
There we go.
stand back. Yes, exactly.
yes,
So,
for
All
sure.
right.
we would be a force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely.
So last question.
Mhm.
What are you currently reading?
Ooh, I am currently reading Glow of the Everflame. I have like one chapter
liking it?
left. Yeah, I am actually
Okay.
very much. It's a slow burn to the truest form. I'm on book 2 and it's still a slow burn. And I'm like,
Yes,
come
girl.
on.
It's the slowest of slow burns.
But
It
I found it really enjoyable. Like, don't get me wrong, there are moments where I want to like, shake,
it's really interesting.
shake the characters.
Yes.
But it's really interesting. I like the concept of magic. I'm kind of curious where it's going to go now with like all the moving parts and gods and mortals and these paths that I'm certain are around and we just don't know what they look
Yeah,
like.
there's a lot to that
There
series.
is.
Like a lot. There's a
Mhm.
lot happening there.
But I've been doing it as a buddy read with a few other ladies, and it's been a lot of fun. We just chat theories all the
Oh, that's
time.
cool.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
that.
No, it's
Hmm.
cool. It's a cool series. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. The thing that bothers me with that one is it's like this mystery of when the next book is coming out. And so I've read all 3
Okay.
and now I'm like, come on.
Has she not
when are we getting
announced it?
book 4? No.
I thought it said July on Goodreads.
That must be new.
Okay.
because they've moved that meter like
Okay.
a bunch of different times.
So that's
yeah.
annoying. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the hard part
So
when
we'll
you're
have to
like,
see if that book actually comes out. Yeah.
I hope it comes out this year. Like, I know I still have one more and it's a behemoth, the next one, book 3, but
the next Heat is
yeah,
it's a lot.
it's a lot. I know. I'm just hoping we get something. This slow burn is killing me. I'm not
It's oh my god, it's so slow.
like
I'm giving you no hope in the next book because it's incredibly slow there too. It's that miscommunication trope, man.
Yes. And it's actually miscommunication is one of my least favorite, but I do believe it always moves the plot along. Like it's almost necessary in a lot of books, but it drives me crazy when it continues.
This is like the author described the slow burn as like if you like a deliciously painful slow burn, intending to say like you need to be the slow burn type reader who actually really
Okay.
loves an extremely intense slow burn if this is for you.
See,
and so that's where I struggled because I was like, I don't mind the tension.
Me
Like
neither.
even in this book, like even if they didn't hook up until like, or even like not even fully hooked up in the same way, I would have been okay with that.
Yeah.
It was really more of just like yearning is fine, but this is like next
And
level.
it's like been yearning from one side. So I'm kind of like, can you guys both yearn for each other? Like, can you, so
yeah, and you will.
Okay.
He will be.
I mean, I
better.
love Luther. I really liked, but is sometimes they want to shake her a little bit, just give her a good look.
Oh yeah, DM drives me kind of nuts sometimes, for sure.
So I try to tell
I
myself
hear
she's
that.
in early 20s, but
Yeah,
it's hard.
all of them are.
Yeah.
Come on.
Between that, because I was
Right.
reading that and Shield of Sparrows at the same time, and they were both slow burns, and I was like, somebody's got to give me something here because I'm losing my mind.
We just got Shield of Sparrows.
Okay.
See, it's behind Michelle.
Oh,
We just got it, so I haven't started it yet.
yeah.
Yes.
I'll be curious
I
what you
have
guys
not got
think.
it
Clearly,
yet.
I
It's
haven't
right here.
either. It's on
behind me, too.
display.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's on the
It's
list.
on the list.
But did you like it?
I did like it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
All right. Because the other one, Silver, I forget what it's called.
Elite Silver.
Danny Francis, Silver
Silver
Elite.
Elite. Yeah.
Yeah. It's everywhere, but then the reviews are really mixed.
Mhm.
So I'll probably end up reading it at some point. But this one had like Shield of Sparrows had by far the better reviews. So I was like, I'll go here first.
I enjoyed it very much. I thought it for a romance author to move into a romantasy, it was well done. I can't decide if it's slightly overhyped though. I can't decide. I need to read it again because again, I was reading 3 fantasy books at the same time, and that was too much for my
Girl.
brain. That was too much. So
Yeah, that is too much.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
one fantasy. I could do one
Right.
fantasy, like one historical fiction and one
Yeah.
like something else, like dark romance, contemporary, something else. I can't read all of those fantasies.
I had
That's
too
too
much
much.
I get the
going on.
world
because you start getting them confused.
Yeah.
Yes, you start getting them confused.
Yes. And I had 2 book clubs and a buddy. It was too much. So like I will read it again, but this time I will not listen to the audiobook and read. I will only read it because I do think the book is better than the audiobook.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That would be my
Sounds good.
but I did enjoy it. I enjoyed it a lot, but I need to give it another chance before I can fully tell you if it's overhyped or not. But it felt slightly, but again, I think the audiobook was lacking. So that I think was a bit of my frustration.
Okay. Fair.
Fair.
Yeah. Yeah. What
Would you come back on?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I would love to.
All right, good.
I'm
Awesome.
sure there's lots
Great.
of what is on your guys' like upcoming schedule. What kind of book are you guys hoping to do?
I don't know,
Mm.
Valerie. I don't know yet. I can tell you that we will be covering Brimstone in November
Okay.
for sure.
Yeah.
I can also tell you that we will be covering the next book in Carissa Broadbent's Serpent in the Wings of Night.
Okay, I have not read
So we'll
August.
cover that.
Yeah.
Ooh, you would like it.
Yeah, it was
It's-
really good. Vampires.
It's been on.
It's like Hunger Games vampires
Ooh,
for the
I
first
would
book.
like that. I
Yeah,
would like that.
really good. It's a duology, and then first book is always FMC's perspective, and the second
Okay.
one is like both perspectives, which is
Ooh, I like
really
that.
nice
Mhm.
that you get both. Yeah, so
Okay.
highly recommend.
It's been high on my TBR, so I don't think I have any more free fantasy books at the same time anymore. Well, I'm never doing that again. But so I will push it up onto my TBR because
Yes, read Serpents, and I would love to hear.
And
your
I would
feedback
say
on it.
of like fantasies, it's not heavy world
I
building.
like that.
There's a lot
No.
of like,
Yeah.
because there's different types of like vampires, and that gets complex, but like the world itself isn't very
Yeah, it's
heavy,
unoverwhelming.
like
I like that. Okay.
So it's pretty easy to consume in terms of like fantasies, I would say.
Okay. And actually, I like that. And I would say Shield of Sparrows is very similar to that. Very great, like intro fantasy reader type book. If you don't like heavy world building, but still enough that you have like an image. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
That's good.
All right.
Okay.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Yes,
We
thank
love
you
having
for
you
having
on.
me. I really appreciate you guys inviting me for this book. I'm glad you guys did because it gave me the chance to read it or listen to it a second time, and I appreciated it a lot more second go around.
Awesome.
Oh, awesome.
Well, thanks for being here.
Yes, of course.
We'll definitely have you back. We love having you here, Valerie.
Thank you so much, ladies.
Hi, Desirae. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're so happy to have an Orlando-based local out in community to talk books.
I am so excited to be here. So thank you for inviting me.
Of course.
Yeah, the pleasure's ours.
Excited. Since you're new onto our show, and obviously this is our first time having a chat with you talking books, because we met, that was in January, the Onyx Storm release party with New Romantics.
I can't believe that.
Out in the wild.
Yeah. Yes.
It's
in the
been,
wild.
What's
in
that
person.
math? 4 months?
5 months. Yeah. Yeah. Don't hurt me. You're hurting me. Don't do math.
Basic math. We can't do it. Could you tell us a little bit about how you got started with Bookstagram and your involvement in the book community?
Yeah, so I actually started on BookTube back in 2016 and then eventually moved to Instagram, or was doing them simultaneously, but mostly like BookTube. And then I found friends on BookTube, and I started just going to a lot of local events. So you guys know that you'll see me at a lot of different things. I know, like, I'll bump into people, they're like, you're everywhere. Like, because I just end up going
all the
to
bookish things.
To all the bookish things and like the signings. And
Great.
I love like taking photographs of like authors and stuff like that and sharing them.
That's awesome.
And at some point, I was super excited about the New Romantics coming out. And so I attend a lot of events there. And I wanted to share the love. And I started visiting like little free libraries in the area and dropping books with gift cards in them to the New Romantics. And
that's awesome.
After that, someone offered a little free library to Jane. And she was like, do you want it? And I was like, yes. So now I have like my own little
So how
free.
does that work? How does the little free library work?
So you can sign up to be a steward for a little free library, and you have to purchase a box or build one or find one somewhere where you can put books in it, and people come and they take a book or they leave a book. And there's a bunch of them in the Orlando area. There's an app, there's a website. So if you wanted to search for them specifically in your area, you could look for them in the app. And it's just a way for people to share their love of reading. And so now I have one like on my front lawn that people have been coming to visit. And I'm just like super excited to be sharing my love of reading with everybody.
Yeah, that's amazing. I have one actually in a park around the corner from my house. And there's a steward that takes care of it. During the hurricane, the door like flew off of it 8 months ago, whenever that was, when the hurricane flew off of it and all the books got soaking wet. And then our neighborhood like came together and people brought a bunch of books to replace them, because the steward went on our little neighborhood Facebook thing and was like, all the books are ruined, they got rained on, and different members of the community came and put in new books. And it's really cool because I've seen children's books, any type, anything anyone could want to read, any genre are in there. And sometimes they even have the comic books, manga. It's a really cool experience. So that's amazing that you have on your front lawn. That's the freaking coolest thing. Congratulations on that. It's awesome.
Thank you. And I agree with you that it's just like a community effort. So it's just wonderful seeing like people show up. Like I can go out there 4 times a day and there will be different books in there. So like plenty of people are like stopping by and grabbing books and putting books in there. And it's just been really fun. Great for my ADHD dopamine. Every time I open the box, there's something different.
That's awesome.
All right. So let's get into Quicksilver. So overall, thinking of the book, thinking of all the components of the story, what do you like about Quicksilver?
I really love how bingeable it felt, because I was super intimidated by the size of the book. I don't normally read romantasy. So the reason I picked this up was because Jane at the New Romantics would not stop talking about it. And I love to read books in first person, written in first person. And I noticed that this one was. And I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. Okay. The audiobook was incredible. I don't know if you guys also listened to the audiobook.
Chef's kiss.
And like,
so good.
I started it and flew through like the first 150 pages. And then I finished it on a Sunday. And it was just, again, so bingeable. And it surprised me a lot in regards to the storyline in the beginning and how it changed. But we could probably talk a little bit more about that and some of the other questions.
That's fair. Okay, so let me have a follow-up question because I should be like Danny follow-up question. I use that. I literally always say that. Okay, I have a follow-up question. No way. Surprise me, Danny. I can't believe you have another question. You said you don't really read romantasy, which totally fine because we read tons of different genres. I just got done with the historical fiction. I like to mix it up. What about this book, being that it was romantasy, hooked you aside? Because it's not romance. And I figured Jane, she's New Romantics. I figure you read a lot of romance. I don't want to make an assumption, but my guess would be that you do read a lot. Okay. So what hooked you into this book that made you keep going?
I think I really liked how strong of a character Saeris was. And I was expecting the story to go a certain way in regards to like the love-hate dynamic that was in the beginning. But the fact that she turned things around just had me like rooting for her and screaming. And I was like super excited because I feel, and again, I don't read a ton of it, but the things that I hear, it seems like they tend to go in a certain direction or like the
tropes.
Yeah. So I feel like it deviated slightly from some of the tropes that I normally hear about in romantasy. And I really liked that. And it's very like incredibly developed world. And it was just really interesting. And I thought even the side characters were incredible in this story.
Yeah. Which one was your favorite side character?
I think Ren.
Okay.
All right. Loyal, war braids, gruff Scottish accent from the audiobook.
What? Yeah.
What's there not to love?
Yeah, they all had such great personalities, and I felt like he was really funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Agree.
If you disliked something, what would it be? And you can omit and be like, I didn't dislike anything. That's totally an option here.
It was part of the story in the beginning. Like I could have potentially DNF'd if like he was just going to be a jerk to her most of the story, if he was going to be like an alpha hole, whatever they call that. If he had been like a jerk for the majority of the story, I might have DNF'd it. But because there was like a switching up, like I loved that part about it.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I answered the question. What was the...
No, absolutely.
Yeah,
okay.
You did.
A lot of people, I think that's common, that a lot of people are hearing or that saying that Kingfisher's just a complete ass. The majority of the story, but you see those little tidbits of like him giving or him hesitating, and that kind of, you get curious and wanting to see where he actually turns. And actually, did you read the POV chapters?
I don't think so. Was that part of the Kindle version or...
There's a Kindle POV chapter, but then on Callie Hart's website, there are 3 additional bonus chapters that are from Kingfisher's point of view. And you get a little bit more of how he felt from the beginning with those, and that he was just an asshole to protect her at the whole time. But I highly recommend them. They're for free on Callie Hart's website. There's just a bonus chapter tab, and you just click them and read them. Really good.
All right, I'm going to have to check those out.
Highly recommend. Yes. Yeah. And all right, next question. We know that is coming to the big screen, so to speak. Netflix has picked it up, 7-figure deal. Callie Hart's executive producer, which is awesome. We love it when our authors are really involved in their storytelling. So this is great. Question is, which scene from the book are you most looking forward to seeing visually on Netflix?
I think the scene that I'm looking forward to like most is probably one of the parts that made me cry. And that was where he starts talking to her about why he calls her Osha.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Because I just feel like it was vulnerable and like sweet and intimate. And I would love to see that on the big screen.
I wonder
why
if
we have said, oh, go ahead, Michelle.
Oh, I wonder if as they're like do it for that scene specifically, if they're going to do like a voiceover and not a flashback because he hasn't done that. It's all lore of the Oshalith butterfly. But I wonder if they're actually going to show up in the Aegean sky, the snow, and like the actual process of the
butterflies.
Oh, yeah. I would love that. That would be beautiful. Especially because the butterflies themselves are so pretty with the iridescent blue.
Yeah. I can't wait to see them. That'd be like, I'm excited to see them, how they put that on film. I think 2 things have to happen to make that really successful. Is the first is obvious, which is casting. They have got to get that right. They've got to get it right. It's so important that they get that right. But the second is the score. The music has to be right too. And that seems so intimate that the wrong music will just jam. That will mess that whole thing. So I did a post earlier the other day that had background music from Game of Thrones, because my dream would be that the composer from Game of Thrones would be able to work on this on Netflix, the Netflix Quicksilver movie, because I feel like that piece is so critical to make it successful. And that scene in particular, because it's so intimate, the music has to be right. I hope that they nail it. I hope they get it right. I'm super excited. I hope that, come on, Netflix, get it right, please.
Is there anybody like specific that you're envisioning for the casting?
No. I could go with a no-name, amazing person, but I could also Henry Cavill any day of the week too. But I don't know if I would see Henry Cavill honestly as Fisher. I think he'd be a better Renfus maybe if he was done correctly, or maybe a Lorith even. I don't know if I see him as a Fisher in this specific role, but he still could play him for sure. Did you see The Witcher?
I did.
Because he could pull it off. Yeah, he could pull off Kingfisher for sure. But did you think of anyone? Is there anyone you'd like to see play Kingfisher? Any other role?
I love Henry Cavill. I don't know if I'd see him as Kingfisher, but I don't know. I know people were talking about how they expect it to be just like a no-name person and that this will make their career. So I imagine something like that is going to happen. But I didn't really picture anyone in particular, not for him or for Saeris. Do you guys have any thoughts about Saeris?
I hope none of them are really famous people, because they're such powerhouse characters. And a lot of times when you have people who've played strong roles in the past, they bring that sort of perspective into the story. And you want a clean slate with these characters just because they're so dynamic. So I wouldn't mind just no name, first time, maybe not first time acting, but like first time on the big screen and something like really huge. And just that's what
maybe
makes
someone
their
off
career.
Broadway or something. Somebody done really well with it. But when I think about that, I think of Khaleesi and I think of Jason Momoa, who played when they started Game of Thrones, and Emilia Clarke, who plays Khaleesi, right, who played Daenerys Targaryen. They were no names. Nobody knew them. They'd seen them a couple different times on different screens, but not to that level. And that just did what you said, Desiree, where it just exploded, absolutely exploded their career. And now they're A-list huge celebrities, but they were the right pick. And I would much rather that. I would much rather the right pick of someone who's maybe lesser known or not known well at all versus some huge actor trying to carry it on their own. And yeah, so I agree. I think it's better to have someone that has this huge opportunity. So it'd be really great to see and see somebody just do a great job with it. Because it's a series. We're going to get more movies. If it's done correctly, we're getting more movies. There's no doubt about that.
And it was like a 7-figure deal for her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was big.
It was awesome.
Going off the music, really quick. I know you said like the Game of Thrones people, which would be incredible, but I don't know this person's account, but there's like somebody on TikTok who has been making music for like the fantasy books. I'm wondering if like he would be able to.
The guy who did Luminary or somebody else?
I think so.
That guy?
Yeah,
okay.
I think so.
I got to pull him up. It's Joel Sonny that we were talking about. And I agree with you. His stuff is amazing. And so that would be really cool to see some of the already popular on social media that have had a following there be able to even spring forward and have even more of a career as well and get picked up. That'd be really cool too. I didn't think about it like that, but that would be awesome to see someone who's a no-name composer, somebody but has made it big that way, have an opportunity with one of these book films adaptations.
That would be like incredible for them.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump into Brimstone, or thoughts of Brimstone. So that's coming in November, and who, if is dying?
I feel like it's probably going to be somebody that I really like.
It always is.
Yeah.
Never like Danya.
Or,
Danya.
yeah, I would hate for it to be like Ren. But I could see that happening. I feel like a lot of people like him because he's just so funny.
Yeah, he's a good character because he's like loyal, dependable, encouraging. I hope it's not him just because I feel like there's a story that he needs to complete with Everlane. And he has like his own side quest with Everlane that he has to, like, I feel like they're end game and they have to get to that point, whether that's in Brimstone or the next book.
Are they mates?
But Desirae, do you think that they're mates?
I don't know.
Way to deflect. But that was an open forum question. That was.
I don't know. Not the way I think Kingfisher.
They're like
Saeris.
They're godbound.
They're like God.
No one else is that.
Nobody can touch that level. That's like
No.
a whole nother. We can't even understand
No.
it. Even the gods couldn't figure out how to separate them. So if they're but
True.
you could be chosen mates too, or like maybe a lesser tier of insanity that Kingfisher and Saeris are. But they're godbound. That's
Right.
Yeah.
So was that a yes, Michelle?
I
Do
can
you
see
think
it.
they're mates?
I wouldn't disagree with that. Why not? I feel like the term mate is used pretty loosely, especially like how Telena described how her and her husband are mates and they had to wait a couple years and do the tattoos, and like how that process works. It seems like it's less like them and it's like a clicking in their soul. It's more of a decision and kind of like just deciding, hey, I like you, you like me, we fit pretty well together, we're mates. At least that's how it seems like from Telena's perspective. And she could have been
You
glazing
mean like
over
regular
it.
soul?
Yeah, just the
soulmates,
regular
like how we
standard,
use the
like,
term
soulmate.
soulmates in our
Yeah.
world. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so that seems
Fair enough.
more likely just because the whole godbound thing hasn't really been in existence since forever, besides Saeris and Kingfisher. Yeah, why not? Why not? Let them be mates. And then let's not kill one of them.
Yeah. Let's not do that.
Who do you guys think might die?
I'll let you answer that, Michelle. Go ahead.
Okay, let's deflect to Michelle now. I
One.
honestly think it's Lorith that's going to, just because his story arc seems pretty complete for the most part. He already has a title, Lorith of the Broken Spires. He has his god sword. He helped Kingfisher bring Saeris back. So I think he's gonna be one to die in a really badass battle, and that's not really gonna impact Kingfisher anyways, because if Lorith dies, then Kingfisher gets his soul back, or that piece of his soul back. So I think if he dies, it's low stakes in terms of like how it impacts the main characters, besides like it being absolutely gut wrenching. But yeah, since
that
he's
would have
just one
been my
character.
second choice.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Michelle, but I also want Madra to die. So,
Well,
just
yeah,
throwing it out
Madra
there.
and Belicon are going to die.
Switching gears now, the next thing we could see in Brimstone, my thought with the ending of the book is, I know you said you don't read a lot of romantasy, but it's like very typical in romantasy, the last 100 pages to be absolutely insane. And you're just like, your hair's on fire trying to figure out what the fuck's going on because there's so many things that are happening. And in true form, that happened in this book too. So Talladega gets introduced a little bit earlier on with Everlane, with what happens with her, but more gets introduced later at the end of this book. And we know that he turns Saeris. And so my question to you is, what are your thoughts on what turning, him specifically turning her could mean? And do you think that there is a bond there?
I think if we're just going off of like normal vampire lore, there's always a bond there. And I feel like that would just be a challenge for the next book, having to deal with that.
Wait
and
a
how
minute. You said you don't read romantasy and fantasy. How did we know that? I feel like you do. You
I
must
watched
love
the
it. I
Vampire
know you do.
Diaries.
There you go.
There we go.
Exactly. Exactly. I knew it. All right, keep going. Sorry.
So like that would just present an issue probably that people aren't going to be necessarily thinking about or going into the next book with. And then it's just going to like surface and be like, oh, just a thing that has to be dealt with in some way.
Do you think because the
Okay.
enthrallment, is it going to be like a love triangle type thing or is it going to be less than that?
I don't think it would be.
Godbound, enthrallment.
I don't think it would be like a love triangle.
Or Saeris.
Why choose? It'd be a why choose.
It could be. It could be, but I don't think it will be. I
I
think,
don't feel like Kingfisher is much of a sharer.
yeah, I don't think so either. Like, he's not gonna have that. So I think it's just gonna be like one of those things where she starts making decisions and people are like, why is she doing this? And it somehow goes back to
Ooh.
days. So it's just gonna be like a complicated thing. It'll just complicate the story, but not necessarily mess
When
things
you
up.
say like she'll just do things, do you mean like he's influencing her to make certain decisions like that? Like to his own gain? Do we think he has like a subplot type thing?
Yes. I don't know what that
Okay.
subplot would be exactly, but
Well, he was second in line originally.
yeah. So
Now he's second in line again, but he turned the new queen. Yes, there's a lot there to unpack. All right. I like it.
and I think I know he was
Alright,
like
so-
asking for her consent to turn her,
Yeah.
Right.
but that might have just been to cover his own ass.
So in the Kindle POV chapter, we get a little bit more insight into Kingfisher and Thadeus' relationship, and it's more he also faces a similar trauma as Kingfisher. So I think Callie Hart intentionally did that so we can trust him, but just because she says that you should trust him on page doesn't mean he's not going to have ulterior motives
Right.
to things. So I agree with you that there's probably something else there. Not necessarily. I don't think he's like evil or anything, but there might be.
But
little
he still
something
has his
that
he
he
still
wants
has his
gang.
own motives. Yeah.
And I think too, he's going to have, I think it'd be really interesting to have, I don't think we're going to get it, but I think it'd be really interesting to have Thadeus' point of view in the sense that he really knows all the lords and like everything that has happened in the court of the vampires for all this time. He has such a deep history of this and how the inner workings of that world is going to be. And I think Brimstone is going to open that whole world up because Callie's done a really good job of giving herself so many ways that this story can just expand. And that's something I really liked is like, even though the world itself is massive, she keeps us with these characters pretty tight in this first book. We don't go that many places, but we know they exist. And she points to them, but she doesn't take us there to overwhelm us. She still keeps us really tightly close to Saeris and Kingfisher's story. But I think we may see some more expansion with the Balkhitter Witches clan. We've got a couple different elements here that are new. So I think you're spot on that we don't know necessarily what his purposes could be, but there's definitely something there to the fact that he was the one who did this and that consent was required and he needed consent and that this element was tying them and binding them. And the fact that she also bites him back. She doesn't remember it. He brings that memory back up. But yeah, I tend to agree. I think I agree with you. Be curious to see how it all plays out for sure.
Is it a confirmed trilogy, or is that just what we're expecting?
Right now, as far as I know, it's a trilogy with additional books planned for spinoffs.
Or like side story. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that can always change. I know she's writing book. We know she's writing book 3. We know she already finished 2, obviously, because that's coming out. She's writing book 3. We don't know for sure. Sometimes these authors say they're going to be trilogies. I think Fourth Wing originally was always going to be 5 books, but you don't know. Look at ACOTAR. We don't know.
Yeah.
The world may never know.
Because a lot of times the story guides the author and how like the characters feel. And if at the end of book 3 things don't tie in a neat bow, then there could be another book.
Yeah.
Just,
It feels like a bigger
Saeris can have
series
just
to me.
another conflict. It does with how big
does.
the world is. It feels like it should be a bigger series. But I'm wondering if she says it's going to be a trilogy because we have 2 like villains right now and left. Malcolm, there was 3 of them. Malcolm's dead and there's 2 more. So is that the reason why it's a trilogy? Because we have to kill Madra and then Bellicon. But I feel like that shouldn't just tie, just because of those 3 villains, we shouldn't just cap the book count if the story's not complete.
Here.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of reasons it could be that. I'd be curious. I think we're going to find out a lot more in Brimstone about the trajectory for sure. And I'm curious to see how many, like the page count of Brimstone, all that. I'm very curious how long of a book it is and what more we're going to get with it. Yeah.
Do you guys think Saeris' character is going to change significantly? Like maybe.
Oh.
Yeah.
I feel like she has to.
Yeah.
I don't think her core values won't change. but she has to. Now she's a queen. Like, her whole dynamic is going to change, and she's going to struggle with that because she's a fighter and she's used to having to fight for her way. But now, like, as a queen, it doesn't really go like that. There's more political maneuvering that you have to do, and she's going to have to learn that sort of way. And then how her being in Amitreath, how that's going to go, and is Fisher, is there going to be a separation between them because he also has Callish, and then Carrion has to take his place in the Winter Palace. So is there just going to be a separation with them? How's that going to work? And I feel like that's going to impact her and her decisions, but her values are always family and what's right and what's fair ultimately. And so that's what's going to be her driving force. It's just going to look very different.
I'm worried she's going to develop a little bit of an evil streak. Like, the power is going to do something to her.
Possibly. Power corrupts, usually.
Right.
I don't know. I guess that goes to, are the vampires innately evil? Is the reason that they become lords? Because I think in Thadeus' case, he wanted to kill himself like many times, and Malcolm wouldn't let him. So that tells me that maybe not all of them wanted to choose that life for themselves, and they would have happily have died as Fae. But Saeris isn't a vampire that's turned. She's a half vampire, which no one's ever seen. Which what that does too for her is it creates an element of fear. But it also means that people are going to want to take that throne from her. They don't want her to have it. And there's going to be a lot of problems with that will ensue, and she's going to have to step into that. So I think her character arc in Brimstone is going to really shift into Queen. I don't know if she shifts into Queen fully until the third book, and there's some stunted development growth. That would make sense to me, that she would have issues, to your point, getting there. So we'll see. But I do think she has to change. She's going to have to really step into becoming,
she's not a thief in Zilvarin anymore.
Yeah. She's not only looking out for herself now, she has a much, much bigger stake in the whole story now than ever before. And there's no reason to go back to Zilvarin other than to kill Madra. There's nothing there for her except for Hayden and Elroy. But let's move into that a little bit, because now that we're talking about Zilvarin, we know that Kingfisher's father, or the last place he was seen alive, was in Zilvarin, and that he brought Carrion there and protected him. With Solace being embedded into the Quicksilver, do you think Kingfisher's dad is alive?
I don't, but I don't have a great reason for why I don't. Just,
it's alluded to multiple times that he's not. Okay.
How about you?
All right. Michelle.
Danny, you want to answer? Okay. So
Michelle has a theory.
I think he is alive just because it's not explicitly said he's dead. It's just not. And usually when authors do that, it's to leave it open for that character to come back. I think because at the very end, we get from Carrion's perspective how Kingfisher's dad brought him through the Quicksilver, and how Carrion was taken by one of Madra's slaves. Kingfisher's dad didn't come with Carrion and the slave to the third. So I believe he is still alive. He is hanging out in Zilvarin. I think Hayden, who Carrion moved him safely to a shopkeeper in the 7th, I think that's actually Kingfisher's dad. And he's protecting Hayden in that sense for now. And I think he'll ultimately come back to Avelia. But that's just my thought, because why else would he carry and trust someone so much besides another Fae with someone so important, because he understands that Saeris is important and Hayden is important to Saeris in that sense.
And do you think that's like a book 2 or a book 3 reveal?
That's a good question. I'm hoping Hayden comes in book 2.
Yeah,
honestly.
Same.
I really do hope so. So if
I feel like
that were the case, I would think book 2. So
yeah.
Do you think, so who do you think would bring him? So if Kingfisher's dad's not alive, who do you think will bring him back to Avelia, or to Avelia in the first place?
Originally, Saeris was trying to send Kingfisher to find him. So I don't know if they're going to separate and he's going to be off kind of doing his own mission, maybe trying to bring him back still.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't think about that. What if, I hope she doesn't do this, But a lot of authors tend to separate their two main characters to keep the story like arc going. I'm hoping they don't separate Saeris and Kingfisher. I hope that's not throughout all
I
of
think
Brimstone.
she's going to have to. I
Oh.
think she has to. I don't think it's going to be for the entire book. Like, I just think because Kingfisher is going to have to do stuff in college and she is a queen in Sansaroth.
Has to stay there, yeah.
There's going to have to be a separation. I don't know to what degree, and since he has portals and now magic works more in Sansaroth, I think it will alleviate that gap. They're going to be separated.
I agree. Hopefully not for the whole book, though.
Yeah. I desperately do not want that.
Right.
Okay.
I think they're both going to be tested,
Yeah. Yeah.
like significantly.
Of course.
Yeah.
We were talking about this before where we said that this book isn't really a fairy tale in any sort of sense. It's definitely more of a nightmare with fairy tale elements. It's not really a fairy tale with nightmare-ish elements. It's more of a nightmare with fairy tale elements. It's a lot of horror. There's a lot of very visually graphic scenes with these feeders, with all this stuff. Not a happy tale. For us to think that Brimstone would be a happy tale, it's titled Brimstone.
Mhm.
I don't think that there's any indication that we should think that would be the case, that it would be an easygoing, fun-loving time, especially because we have the God of Chaos literally saying that, yeah, if you go back, by the way, it's not going to be an easy time. You have a huge storm basically on the horizon for you. So, best wishes. See you later. Pushes her back into the Quicksilver. So we know it's going to be dark. Yeah, exactly. Thanks. Thank you for that. Okay. So we know it's going to be dark. You have a god sword. You're ready to defend. What magic does your god sword have?
So I am a lucid dreamer, and
Ooh.
my god sword would be related to dreaming in some way, where I would be able to show up in other people's dreams
Cougar.
and just like
It's giving Violet.
gain information, but to use it for good somehow versus like evil. Like I wouldn't use it to hurt people, but to protect people somehow.
Here I jump to like killing people. You're like, I'm going to help people.
So yeah, that's what I.
You go into their dream and you're like, you're never waking up. And you just walk out. That's how you defeat your enemies. Oh my God. Okay.
That's pretty cool.
How about you?
So typically we like to create a team. We've in our series of interviews, we created like the powerhouse team. So if yours acts when everybody's dreaming, so like the night before battle, right? And we're going into battle and you didn't get to everybody, let's say. So let's inception it, right? You could implant an idea and you don't, for some reason, are not successful at you give them an idea, but it backfires. And now we still have a battle on our hands and maybe it's a lesser battle, but we still have one. Now you need actual people that can like chop people up or do some other type of sick magic skills, like Michelle's one, which I don't know if she's going to choose this same power, but I would like something that has some kind of shield that also kills in some sort of way. Because here's the thing. If I'm on the ground, I don't have horses, I don't have any other thing, and all I have is my sword, and I can't carry a giant shield, let's say in this instance, at the same time, it's difficult to do both. So my thought would be, it'd be really cool if I created some kind of force field that like took everybody around me out at the same time. But I could also still use it to defend. So that would be pretty good. And then you send me out first. So I get going with that. This is my sword, by the way.
Would people's attacks
you're
like
listening, you can't see it.
It's
ricochet?
giving like
I'm just,
Voldemort.
Looks like, yeah. It's giving Voldemort, yeah. Yeah. That's not what I was going to. Oh, that's actually a good one. I guess you could do that too, where you just point it and it's like a point click. There, you're gone and you're gone. You get a car and you get a car.
It's like a remote.
Away
It's
from
like
here.
a TV
Yeah.
remote. Gone.
Yeah.
Would the shield just protect you, or would like other people's attacks ricochet and hit enemies around you?
In my mind, I'm seeing this as an electrical current situation that's like a big ball around me. And then I can expand it as needed. So it's like, you're coming at me with metal. Cool beans, man. I have an electric current ball thing around me. So take that. And I just imagine it. Yeah. Very threatening. Terrified? You should be. Yeah. That's the plan. That's my plan. You get them ahead of time, Desirae, while they're asleep. We take out as many as we can. And then if we can't convince them to walk away peacefully in their dreams, that's the plan. We're not taking everybody out, but we could, but we're not going to. We then tell them, okay, this is you get the force field now. You're getting, and whatever Michelle's bringing. What are you bringing, Michelle?
I've said the same thing for all of the interviews, so I feel like I can't change it up now.
It's our interview.
Just because
you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, but I haven't thought of another one, so that I want to.
Oh, well, then that's your own problem.
So I like mine though but it sounds pretty fucked
terrifying.
up compared
gruesome.
to everyone else's. Mine is so I really like Greek mythology and I really like Hades, and so I'm like, okay, underworld, soul eater. I'm just gonna like beams like this purplish stuff, and then like your soul's just gone, just gone.
Yeah.
No underworld for you. No afterlife. That's what you get.
So you go in, Desirae, in their sleep, and you're like, look, if you show up tomorrow, our soul eater is going to take you out. So, and if not that, the electrical force field's going to electrocute you. So you look, it's your choice. Up to you.
Ooh,
You know?
I would also like mine to create little like soul eating like monsters. So I've been reading I've been reading the Savage Bonds, right? And you know how like North and Nox, they have their little demon monsters.
The shadow monsters.
The shadow monsters.
Those are cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So it creates all
so
these
there's
puppies,
these two shadow
and they
daddies.
look really cute.
Well, we have to give some backstory here. A little bit of backstory. Hold on. There's these two shadow daddies in Shadow Daddies is a romantasy. Yes, we know. Okay, great. And they are in they're in Broken Bonds, but it's a whole series. Anyways, what's really cool about them and what I haven't seen of a shadow daddy historically is that while they can move and bend their shadows, they actually have animals that comfort them and stay with them and come to them time to time that are made of shadows. And it's a really cool thing to do. And now that she's reading this series, she's like, oh, wait a minute. I want some really shadow soul eater things.
Yes. But like one brother's, because they're two brothers, so they have like similar powers. One brother's has like really cute like puppies, and the other one has like demon monsters, nightmares. He calls them nightmares. So I want the puppies that can be nightmares.
Okay.
But they look like puppies that I could just have.
I don't know if that's worse because they're like puppies that eat your
it is
souls.
Worse. Yeah. And then they just
learn more about you every day, Michelle.
So Mr. Kindly and Nevernight, have you guys read that?
No, but I guess we have to.
Yeah.
So Mr. Kindly is like a shadow cat that eats the main character's fear. But yeah, there was...
I want to bring fear, though.
He makes sure that she's not afraid to do the things that she needs to do.
Aww.
And like...
Oh, that's nice.
Other things happen, too.
Positive spin. Okay.
Now I feel fucked up. I just feel messed up, honestly.
Are we surprised? It is book club after dark, after all. There's some darkness in there. It'll be okay. All right. On that note, what are you currently reading?
What am I currently reading? I know what I'm about to start. It's for the Romantasy Book Club. Romantasy Book Club.
Does that meet monthly, like in-person thing?
Yes.
Have you met a lot of people? Do you like it?
I do. They have 3 different book clubs. They have a sports romance one, a romantasy one, and then a queer one.
How do they decide the book?
Whoever's running the book club does it.
Okay. I didn't
So
know
it's one of the staff.
Oh, okay. They picked the book pick for the night. Fun.
Hold on, I'm trying to see if I can find it. Something about the tides of the moon. Oh, here it is. It's called When the Tides Held the Moon by Vanessa Vida Kelly. And it's LGBTQ historical fiction, queer romantasy that takes place in the 1910s in New York City in like Coney Island. Yeah. And the main character is Puerto Rican. I think he falls in love with a mermaid, and it just sounds incredible.
I was just about to ask, I was like, where's the magic element? We're in Coney Island. How does this work? But then that's cool that it's got like the historical element. There's a lot of stuff happening with interesting.
Yeah, it sounds super interesting.
Sounds like a good read. Okay, you got to report back with your rating. I'm curious how it goes down.
What are you guys reading?
Oh, I'm getting into this one right now. Yeah, I got a couple things going. And this is Geneva Rose's Home is Where the Bodies Are, which we will be covering at the end of June. And then I'm also, because of Stephen Walker, this is entirely his fault, reading my first V.E. Schwab, which I've been wanting to read her stuff for a while. I just have had it on my TBR for the longest time. And when we spoke to him last, he was like, you haven't read A Darker Shade of Magic? And that's exactly how his voice sounds, in case you're wondering. And no. So Darker Shade of Magic, he was talking about how he was trying to give one away at a book event because it's one of his favorite books that got him into reading. And so I thought to myself, if Steven says it's good, we'll give it a shot. So we're starting off there. That's where I'm at now. Michelle, what are you reading?
I'm listening to Lights Out right now. So I'm like halfway through. Yeah, I'm about halfway through.
That's a good one.
So I'm listening to that. It is. I'm enjoying the series. It's dark romance. And
How does
Have
it
you read it?
compare to?
Yes.
No, I haven't read that one, but how does it compare to like Butcher and Blackbird? Because I feel like
it's not
similar.
it's not as serial killery.
No. Or
No, it's not.
it's not really as it's graphic, but it's not graphic in the same way either.
No, it's because they're not killing people.
It's not like gory
She's a
or
nurse,
anything
though.
like that.
Yeah. There are a little bit of gory elements just because she's a trauma nurse in a high crime area, but that's not like the big part of the story. She just talks about some things that happen at her job. And I like it more than like Haunting Adeline because the consent element is very blatant. Like there are two consenting adults. It's not questioned. And I think that's why Haunting Adeline was uncomfortable. At least for me. I know for a lot of readers it's uncomfortable just because the consent element was very questionable at times, especially in the beginning. So I like this because two consenting adults, they just love masks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't think I would be super into dark romance, but yeah, I've been about it. And then I'm reading also on Kindle the Broken Bonds series, which is
Dark
romance?
romantasy, I would say.
Yeah, but it's not very dark.
But it's romantasy
And
for sure.
Yeah, it's romantasy. I wouldn't say
Well, it's going to
dark.
get darker. You're just not
Yeah.
there yet. I clearly have read this series.
Yes.
May or
And
may not
then
be my entire
Also,
my fault
Home
that
is
she's
Where the
into it.
Bodies Are.
Yeah.
Home is Where the Bodies Are is the other one that I'm reading.
That wasn't her
Elena's
newest one, right? Her newest one was like that VHS looking one, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That is the newest one.
Yeah. Which this is the book. This is the hardcover without the
Oh,
it's the
okay.
same book.
Okay.
It's just the hardcover is different. Yeah. Once you take once you
sleeve.
take off the cover,
The
the
desk
sleeve.
coat.
It's the desk. Yeah, my brain was eluding me. The cover of the book is an old TV, which says Summer '99 on the VHS tape right here. That's about to go in. Which the way this makes me feel so nostalgic. To show this to my son earlier, and I was like, "What is this?" He didn't know what it was. That it's an old TV.
Wow.
He didn't know. And I was like,
He wouldn't know what a VHS tape is either. They don't like exist
"Well,
anymore.
no, of course not."
Unless they're
Yeah,
at the
but
library.
it's just
Even
yeah.
still.
For those who are not watching, there, I was showing the cover of the Home is Where the Bodies Are for the hardcover. It's got a TV with the VHS tape, but yeah. Desirae, it has been such a pleasure to have you on the show tonight, and we thank you so much for coming on. We hope that you've enjoyed yourself and you would come
Yes,
back on again for
absolutely.
a future episode.
Yes.
Okay,
It's
awesome.
been so much fun talking to you guys.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And can you give our
yeah, thank you
listeners
so
your
much.
handle before you leave? Give us your handle so people can follow you.
Yes. So I am Libri Labra on Instagram, YouTube, Threads, and
We
Awesome.
will tag you, of course, and everyone will see on the stories and our little clips and all that. But we will be sure to tag you in everything. And so thanks again so much for coming on. We're always happy to have an Orlando local. And we are so excited for this episode to come out. So thank you for being here.
awesome, sweet. I can't wait to see who else you guys interviewed and what their answers were.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Thanks.
Before we wrap up, let's talk about what's coming up next on Book Club After Dark.
Next week, we will dive into Home is Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose. Really excited for our thriller.
Super excited.
So, yeah. So hit that subscribe button to hear more of our exciting book talk. We are looking forward to dissecting this novel with you.
And don't forget, we want to hear from you. If you have thoughts on Quicksilver or suggestions for future reads, drop a comment below or message on one of our social media platforms at Book Club After Dark Pod. So show us your fan art, theories, or anything bookish you'd like to share.
You can also visit our website, bookclubafterdark.co, to stay up to date on our cozy content and check out our merch.
That's all for tonight. Sleep tight, night owls. Until next time, happy reading.